There we go. I'm live. This is the Let's Talk About Pools podcast live, guys, at the Everything Under the Sun show from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Skimmer booth. Skimmer, my big podcast sponsor. I want to say thank you to Skimmer for being such a great host and letting me do the podcast live today. And just helping to continue this education through the podcast, which is my big thing. Hi, Dean. How are you? You're in England and you can see me. That's so exciting. So I'm waiting for some people to come visit and then start talking to people. It'll be really exciting. You can hear all the noise. That's the background of the show. So I'm live at the show, the trade show today, Everything Under the Sun trade show in Orlando, Florida. It's very, very busy. Welcome. So I'm sharing space with the Skimmer, and I'm a live podcast on right now. So if you want to sit down and say hi, they're my big sponsor of the Let's Talk About Pools podcast. So education through audio means and that kind of thing. So awesome. You have a good day. So really excited about this, guys. I'm going to switch my laptop around so that you'll be able to see everything at the show here. Just getting everything rearranged here. Hopefully you'll be able to see me and the speaker when they show up. So really, really excited about being here at doing the podcast here, and I'm hoping we'll get some people to come visit and say hi. Hello, you're live on a podcast.
I am.
This is Instagram Live. Say hi. This is the Let's Talk About Pools podcast, which Skimmer is my big sponsor of the podcast, and it's education. They're helping with education through a free medium, and they help me keep it running. So they're awesome, and I highly recommend them for Pool Route software. So if you got to say hi on live, and then over here is on everything else. If you want to say hi really quick, lean over, see if we can get you on there. There you go. I don't know. What's your name?
Scott.
It's nice to meet you, Scott.
Nice
to meet you. And are you local in
Jacksonville?
You're in Jacksonville, so you are a Floridian.
Yeah,
So am I.
Yeah.
I live in Melbourne. So yes. So I'm here live 2 to 4 doing the podcast.
Get some of my other guys over here.
All right. Yeah, come say hi. And here I have my first guest. Take a seat. We're going to introduce you. We're right here too, live on Instagram. So see if I can orient this right. It's more about them seeing you than it is me. See if I can get this oriented. Let's see. Can you see yourself in there now?
Yeah, I sure can.
Okay. So this is your microphone, and I got my own, and then they can see you here on everything else.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. So how are you today?
Good.
How's the show? How are you enjoying the show this year?
I've been absent from the past 3 years of shows, but now that I'm continuing in the pool business, I decided to see what's the latest and greatest, get out and see some friends and faces.
It's like a family here.
It is.
I run into so many people I know here. It's so exciting.
It is.
Come every year. Last year it came, and it was a much smaller show, but it was still awesome. I just didn't see as many of my family and my pool family and friends.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see everybody. So did you do any education while you were here, or are you just here for the trade show?
I'm just here for the trade show. I've been visiting with a lot of vendors that used to call on me back when I had my business in Michigan. So it's been a great reunion. Good time. I'm glad I came.
Hey, it's free education just walking the trade show, right?
Sure
and
is.
seeing all the new products. There's a lot of cool stuff, isn't there?
In just 3 years, how things have changed dramatically.
Yeah.
The equipment changes.
It changes really quick. You have to keep up on it, don't you?
Yeah.
It's like education and just going to trade shows and seeing everything going on. It's like, really exciting. That's what I like, because I always walk by and there's always that new product or that new thing, and you're like,
it catches your attention.
Yeah. There's always that one. Even last year, I walked the trade show, and the Skimmy, which she's been on my podcast, as an episode in the past, and she wasn't even a pool professional, and she came up with this product, just inventing something to help herself with a residential pool, and all the pool professionals were loving it.
It's all it is, really. So, see a need, fill a need. It's that. People ask me what it takes to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
It takes nothing more than an idea.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it really, I know you're kind of retired from the industry?
Yeah, I was in the industry for 30 years.
That's a long time.
19 years working for myself, and now
And what state were you in?
we're in the center of Michigan, Lower Peninsula.
Wow, I've never been to Michigan. I'll have to go up there someday.
Well,
That sounds really
you'll
cool.
You'll come back, I guarantee you.
So it's different than Florida up there, isn't it? Where it's more of a season up there. You do closings and openings, and we don't really do that here.
No.
Our pools are open year round.
And I'm experiencing a learning curve myself. I took over a commercial pool, and commercial pools in Florida are treated much differently than in Michigan. So it's a whole new ball game for me. I'm excited. I've learned a lot, and I'm doing pretty well at it.
Yep. It's that whole, they're regulated differently. And it's interesting when you learn from state to state how they regulate public pools differently.
Oh, dramatic difference.
I mean, there's like 20 some odd states that don't even require pool operator certification. Did you know that?
Yes.
It's like amazing.
And I've been working with our health inspector. Her name is Michelle. She's been fabulous. She knows I'm new to the industry, so she's been literally holding my hand with this new commercial pool. So she's been great.
That's awesome. And I always highly recommend working with your local health agency or health inspector. That's awesome. That was my job from another life.
Okay.
It feels like I was a health inspector for 17 years here for the Florida Department of Health. So
it's far better to be proactive than reactive.
So anybody out there that needs to know anything about Florida Public Health Code, I think I've spoken to you before about it.
Yes.
But definitely anybody else that's in Florida specifically.
Yes.
Contact me like he did.
Yes.
And we'll get you where you need to be.
Well, nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too. It's so neat to meet people we know each other from Facebook.
We do.
So I'm meeting a lot of friends from Facebook here. It's been really cool just to see people in person and people traveling here. I've met people from other states that actually came in, their own pool service companies from Texas and somebody from Michigan I met somewhere in one of my classes this morning. So, because the educator was getting educated this morning. Can you guys believe that?
I find the same thing myself. But 30 years experience and I'm learning everything.
Yep. Have to. It's like, well, thank you for coming on live with the podcast. It was great talking with you. Yes. And give me your name again? Todd. Hey, yes. So anybody that's out there that's friends with him, we'll be able to reach out and see him on the podcast because the recording will be up after the live ends.
Perfect.
So you'll be able to go back.
Well.
Yes, it'll be up on Facebook under Space Coast Pool School. Let's Talk About Pools podcast page, and there's a Let's Talk About Pools Facebook group now for the podcast. So if you haven't joined it, join the Let's Talk About Pools podcast Facebook group, where we can now openly discuss things that are on the podcast.
Yes, we learn from each other.
I extremely agree with that because in education, as long as you're open to it all the time, you can't think that you always know everything, right?
No.
And as long as you have that open mind, you're always going to be learning and expanding what you know.
Yes, you have to. Well, thanks for having me on.
No problem. You have a really good day.
You too.
All right, so I have my first person on the live podcast, and I think I'm going to bring Kevin down there from Skimmer if he wants to come over. Kevin from Skimmer, who's my big podcast sponsor, is going to come over and say hi. So I'm trying to look and see. So Dean is on still, and somebody that's a Facebook user. You got to give me your name. I won't know who you are. Somebody asked me, what class did I take? Give me your name because I don't know who you are that asked me what class I took. I took Electrical Principles and Safety. And I also took site safety plans. Oh, wow. So Kevin from Skimmer, who's such a great person. We've spoken so many times. My grammar's going bad here while I'm live on the podcast.
Oh, no worries.
Speaking's a word now.
Speaking?
I'm speaking.
All right, let's speak.
Speaking.
Let's do it.
So, how's it going at the show today?
It's amazing. With the show, so I taught a class this morning, Making Waves of Technology.
Oh, that's exciting! You got to teach a class.
I did.
Cool.
I got into a little trouble with the new FISPA director.
Uh
I did not know all the rules,
oh.
but I had good
You're a
intentions.
rule breaker.
I had good intentions.
You always do. I know you do.
She scolded me, and then I adjusted the class quickly. But it was great to meet her. I also
Was
went.
that your first time teaching a class like at a trade show?
No, I've taught several, and so I didn't know I couldn't do certain things at this particular
Oh,
conference.
so we have this scary sheriff in town.
Well, no,
for
it's
this-
I think people get credit for the classes,
Yep.
so they make sure that they're run a certain way.
Yeah.
Right. So everything's good. So that's good. That was exciting.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the show opened, we were just overwhelmed.
Yeah. It's
Like,
a great showing.
This
And
is the first moment I've had to sit down.
this is a very, very busy trade show. I
Yeah.
was here last year. I know you guys weren't able to make it last year with all the COVID. I was here. It was a much smaller trade show, so it's such a great turnout to see everybody coming out.
Yeah. Did you see our booth, our panel last year that we set?
No. Oh, yeah. You had a booth there. Yes.
Right.
I got a picture in front of it.
You know, that was Snowvid in Texas.
There you go.
That's when the ice storm hit
Oh, that's what happened.
and everything went down. Yeah. So
And it was tough. That was the first trade. This was the first trade show last year that opened after the whole COVID thing
Yeah,
in
right.
the whole country.
right.
And they did a really good job, the Florida Swimming Pool Association and the event company that was organizing it
Yeah,
last year.
yeah.
They had everybody separated, wearing masks. I didn't really hear of anything bad that occurred out of it.
Yeah. No, I think
So
I think it
I
went great.
Didn't hear about any outbreaks or anything. So they did really great safety, and it was exciting to just get together whoever showed up. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Totally.
So talk about Skimmer a little bit while we're here. So people that are listening, they don't know what Skimmer is.
You don't know
Other
what
than-
Skimmer is?
I do.
You know, everyone's coming by saying we hear about Skimmer everywhere we go. We go into Facebook groups.
Cool.
Anyone we talk to, I start talking to my buddy, and he's like, everyone's talking about Skimmer. Tell me what's great about Skimmer. And what's really interesting today is a lot of companies have been stopping by that are larger companies. You know, we have small, medium, and large companies. We've got over 3,200 full service and repair companies as customers today, all over the country. And almost 15,000 users. 15,000 full pros using Skimmer every day. So you can imagine within their personal networks and all their social network, the word's really getting around. And it's because we are the easiest platform to use. You know, as our tagline says, everything you need to run your full service business, all in one app.
I have to say, walked up to the booth, you got this beautiful black backdrop back here, and then they didn't have tables, and you
I
still
know.
are doing such a great job with showing off Skimmer to the customers. Who needs tables, right?
All right, we've got the touch screen, so we're showing the Android version of the app.
Yeah.
You know, Michael that runs the show for FISPA, I think for Arata Expositions, unbelievable. Last year, when I told him I wasn't going to make it, he goes, "I'll put your booth up for you. I'll make sure it looks good." And then I ordered the tables late. I said, "You know, I need a table for the podcast for Lauren, and we need a little table to put our things on." He's like, "Well, this is kind of late in the process, but I'll see if I can get it for you."
You made it happen.
And
I still
nobody got
started
it.
right at 2 p.m. on time,
Yeah, there you
all
go.
because Skimmer came through
Michael came
you
through.
procured. You made it that we got this table that
Yeah,
we're working
perfect.
on.
Well, we're happy you're here. We're excited you're in the booth, and
I am too.
I hope lots of wonderful people come by. And,
I hope people come by.
And
Come
talk to
on
you.
by, people.
Yeah.
Come say hi, and we're monitoring, you know, everything on Facebook, and
Yeah.
we'll answer questions. If you have any questions about Skimmer, I've got live people here from Skimmer, so they can come
Yeah.
in and answer your questions.
Definitely.
Are you going to come take your
There's
spot
somebody right
in
now.
the chair and say hi? I know who this is.
Yeah. All
Oh,
right.
I've never seen you in my entire life.
I interviewed you. I just haven't put your
You
podcast
must have been my
episode up
twin
yet.
brother. You having a podcast?
Well, hey, thanks for having me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, Lauren.
much.
We really
And
appreciate
we'll
you.
bring you back in before it ends.
Sounds good.
We're going to bring you back in because you're my awesome podcast sponsor.
Oh, thanks. We love your podcast.
I
We're really
thank you
excited
so
about it.
much. I have a great episode. I interviewed with Kevin this week, and Riptide, the folk from Riptide, Piranha Pool Products, and Primate Pool Tools.
Yeah.
And it's going to be about
The
tools
tools of modern pool professionals.
Yes, it was a
I thought
great
I
episode.
thought we were going to say that together. That would have been kind of cool.
The tools of a modern pool professional. Yes.
That's what it's on.
Awesome. And it was great to record it, and I can't wait to put it up. And it should be up in the next month or so.
Awesome.
So,
All right.
awesome
I'm
job,
going to get out of
Kevin.
here. Get in there.
All right, take your seat. You're going to be on Instagram Live and everything else on here.
Truly, truly amazing. Good to see you, Laura.
You too. It's so much fun to set up the podcast live for 2 hours
This is
and talk
great.
to people.
Yes, you seem so happy. By the way, you haven't changed since last year. You look the same.
Oh, thank you. It means I haven't gotten any more wrinkles and gotten older.
No, but you look happier.
I am very happy, very, very happy because I'm doing what I enjoy.
And you've grown.
Yes, I'm going to have two instructors working with me now.
I follow you. I see what you're doing. I say, wow, you really are doing.
I even have an employee with me today. She's not here right now. She's walking the trade show.
Good for you.
But she was actually my boss at the health department.
You know what?
So 38 years of public health is joining me with my 17 years, and we're going to build some more great education for Florida.
You are doing a great public service.
That's what we want to do. We want to educate. So we're going to be working on a Florida Pool Code class. Who better than people who work for the health department? And that will be an LMS course. And also, we're going to help you guys out in the pool industry down here in Florida because you guys have to work with property managers.
Oh, every day.
And there's not really good education for them that is at where they need to be.
Right.
Certified pool operator is great, but it's more for the pool professional than it would be for a property manager that's talking to their health inspector or talking to the pool professional just to understand what's going on. You show up and you got to drain a pool because you got high cyanuric acid. We'll just use that as an example.
Yeah.
Property managers don't know what cyanuric acid is. They think you're telling them that you got to drain the pool just because you want to make money. That's what they're thinking. So we need to educate that group of people just a little bit on some things, but they don't need to know how to calculate volume of a pool, do they?
Right, but they also need to know about some things you have to spend money on.
Yes, and that's going to be part of what we're going to talk about in our courses for them. Is that pools have to be maintained like cars. You got to do your oil changes, right?
Especially if you want to pass inspection proactively.
Right. Tell the audience who you are, your background a little bit.
I'm Mitchell Fox. I own Global Pools.
Out of where?
Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And we do a wide array of pools. We do commercial, residential. We remodel pools. We do a lot of startups. We do service repair. And we do it for passion. And the clients see that. And we're very committed. We work very hard, very long. We're not your average
How
type.
many years have you been doing this
7
now?
years.
That's a good amount of time.
I've got 4 pool contractor licenses, 5 certifications,
Wow.
and
It's awesome.
the
You do
month
leak detection, right?
and pool inspections.
Yep.
But we service resorts, celebrity.
So you're doing public pools and private pools, right?
yes.
You're doing both. You're doing everything.
We do commercial, we do resorts, we do celebrity pools.
We're not going to name names.
No. And we do a lot of startups. And one thing we offer, which is very important, is 24-hour service. If a person wants to call us because we're there, we use Skimmer,
Yeah, there we go.
which is right behind you.
They're my great podcast sponsor.
That's why I figured when you were here, I said,
They're
okay.
so great.
Lauren
So
and
I
Stuart.
love the guys. I love talking to them.
We
They have
do-
such great energy.
Yes.
And I don't know, they're just easy to talk to and nice. And it's great to have a company when you call or whoever you're dealing with, they're very nice to you. And
They're
it's not
great.
just some person answering
Yes.
the phone and they don't know anything about their product.
Yes.
If you're having an issue with it, we
Yes.
always have issues with products, right? But you got to have somebody who can kind of walk you through it. And sometimes you have a company you call and you're getting like their accountant. And they don't really know about the products. So it's great to have
Yes.
great people
I
there.
think it's really important to say that everyone's really super busy. And when you're super busy, you tend to cut corners.
Yep.
And we do everything to avoid doing that, especially when it comes to chemistry and the appearance of the pool, using enzymes getting ready for the hot weather. Like you want to keep your pouring maybe a little bit lower now, so you don't have an algae bloom in the summer.
Exactly.
You know, and you tend to lose focus when you're so busy, you're scrambling, and the most important thing the client wants to know is they make a phone call, they're going to get a response one way or another, and that's it's very, very important when everyone's so busy. And also strategizing for supply and demand. I'm buying a lot more stabilizer now, stocking up.
Oh yeah.
Also on pumps and supplies and filters. But it's really important, besides everything I mentioned, to keep your head on straight.
Exactly.
Because if you are not sure where you are as far as your business, having control of it instead of your business shooting you, you can find yourself in a lot of trouble.
Build up your business assets.
Exactly.
Don't spend every dollar you make.
Right.
You got to have something there. You
Right.
don't want to have to take a business loan.
Right. And when I say trouble, I'm not just talking about money. I'm saying customer service.
Yes, customer service is important. Even when I worked as a regulator at the health department, we got customer service training. Would you want to listen to an inspector that shows up and they're rude to you? No. Would you want to fix anything? No. So there's a level of customer service in every job, but especially pool service. I agree. That's a completely important thing.
And you really need to keep a positive outlook because whether the customer's right or wrong, you really have to be a placater and a negotiator, you know, because this is very, very heavy customer service.
The hardest part is sometimes on the public pool side. I think that sometimes it's hard to get the associations to want to repair things. Am I correct?
Yes, but it's also really super important to develop a trust issue with all the inspectors because
Work with them
before a problem develops and also be proactive because if you're not proactive as far as a checklist, the pool will be closed and you'll lose that account if it's closed too long. But you work with that inspector. We have a rule basically. When the inspector shows up, we get a phone call. We're there.
Awesome.
We're there.
Awesome. That sounds great. Sounds like you're doing a great job with your company.
Oh yeah, and if there's a problem, we get it rectified within hours. So that pool is open probably the same day because we call the inspector and we say, listen, we resolved it. Okay, you can open the pool and see something out of the ordinary, which is extremely rare. But it's so much easier. You got to develop a trust issue with the property manager that they see that you're in control of the situation.
Communication.
Yeah.
Not just texting. All the young kids are used to texting.
You know,
pick up the phone, call people,
if you're not,
communicate.
If you're not cleaning those filters on those commercial properties, you're going to have the wrong flow rate, and or the feeder's not working. You're going to have some serious closure issues.
I totally agree. Well, thank you for being on the podcast, and everybody, he's going to be on my podcast this year. I interviewed him on leak detection.
Yes.
So we're going to have an exciting episode on leak detection.
Yes.
I interviewed somebody else up in Canada, but they have more above ground pools up there. So he talked more about leak detection when it came to our above ground pools.
Yes.
You're dealing more in Florida with our in ground pools, and
Yes.
leak detection's a little bit different between the two.
Plus, we're also, in conjunction with leak detection, I do a pool inspection. I do a lot of pool inspections for home
And we
sales.
talked about that on the episode,
Right.
so look for that down
And the
road,
reason why I
guys.
do that is I don't want to see a bar getting into a bad situation.
Exactly.
But you should be so proud of yourself, Lauren, what you've done in the past year.
It's because of people like you.
Yeah,
It's
thank
people
you.
like you.
But you inspire us, and you inspire yourself, and you're a rarity.
Thank you so much.
You know, you should be, really proud of yourself. There's no one else like you.
Thank you. So, and this is why I love working in this industry. There's so many great, awesome people in this industry. I don't think there's really ever been anything negative, no negative people that I've dealt with.
You inspire us.
Thank you. And there's a lot of people out there.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of other educators and podcasters. So
Yeah, and it's so good to see you at the show.
you too. I come every year. I only missed one in the last 15 years. And it was in 2017 when I was like 8 months pregnant.
Okay.
And I was like, I can't make that walk.
You know,
All the walking, I couldn't do it. I'd be having my baby at the trade show.
I follow you.
They didn't want to see that.
Yeah, I follow you on Instagram. You're great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll see you.
And everybody's seeing you on Instagram.
Bye.
Thank you
welcome.
for being on the
Quite
podcast.
welcome,
You have a
Lauren.
great day.
Nice seeing you too. Have a
You
great
too.
day. Take
You
care.
too.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
You too. Thank you. National Plasters Council, you want to come over? Trying to get them to come over on the podcast.
Well, if you guys haven't seen the heater,
So we're waiting on somebody to come visit. I'm waiting for visitors. So anybody that's out there,
and I'll give you.
come.
Okay, cool.
We're still up for another hour and a half. So there's plenty of time for everybody that's visiting to come over and say hello. I'm trying to get the people from the National Plasters Council across the way to come over. National Plaster Council. I don't know their name. I wanted to see if one of them wanted to come on. Otherwise, I'm going to get the guy from Stenner to come on. So, yeah, I don't know their names. Do you guys want to be on the podcast really quick? I'm interviewing somebody from MPC on Monday. I don't remember his name. I'm interviewing somebody on Monday from the MPC.
Oh, not me.
Nope, somebody else.
From the NPC?
Yeah, I'm interviewing somebody from MPC.
Right? Is it, it's not Mark Cannon.
I don't know. I think it's Mark or something. Is there? I don't know. I could tell you I'll tell you after my podcast live is done because I have my planner with
Well,
me.
you were on our podcast.
No, I was not.
You were not so close.
No, I was not. But I'm doing my interview. It's not live on Monday, but I'll be interviewing, and I have a whole set of questions from the person. I have 7 questions. It's going to be about
Is it Jeff
startups.
Hamilton? Oh, is it Kent Westfall? Is that what you're
I
interviewing?
think so.
Kent.
Yes.
He's our technical director. He replaced.
So you're live on the podcast.
hi, how are you?
Say hi, Instagram, and then you're on everything else through here.
Awesome.
This is going to 3 Facebook
Okay.
pages, a Facebook group, and 2 YouTube channels.
Wow.
So you're being streamed all over
Great.
the internet right now.
All right.
So this is 2 representatives from the booth across the way. I was yelling at them, and they're representing the National Plasters Council. I'm a certified startup technician.
Excellent.
I did your first virtual class, and it was awesome.
Wow.
I recommend this class to everybody because I'm a CPO instructor, and so we teach regular water chemistry. And at the end of that, I always say you got to know your water chemistry that's different for startups. And because we get a lot of pool service techs that will work with pool builders, and they'll do their startups because that's how they get new clients.
Right.
So they got to be really careful, don't they? So tell us a little bit about that really quick. Summarize.
Oh boy. So.
On the spot, literally,
yeah.
right?
Okay. So my name's Rob Romano. I'm with David Cook Plaster Company. This is David Cook over here. When I first started seeing the startup class come out, now my history is service, construction, renovation. Right. So I was 16 years old, actually 12 years old. I had a vac hole
You
in my
grew
hand.
up in the
Yeah.
industry.
So my dad was a builder back in Connecticut. So when I came on with Dave and saw the startup program, oh my God, you guys have gold here. This is what pool companies need to go ahead and understand what the relationship between plaster and water really is.
Oh yeah.
So in that, we were one of the, when that program came out, Dave and I took Greg Garrett and we did a little tour
There's a name.
of Connecticut.
Greg Garrett, Greg Garrett
Yeah.
and Robert Lowry.
So we spent a week with Greg.
God bless their souls.
Yeah. Wow, what a terrible loss. So we spent a week with Greg. We're doing a tour of the startup program in Connecticut, Long Island, and Nyack, up in Westchester County, New York. To great success. Actually, Greg Garrett would boast or speak proudly of our area, the Northeast, of how educated these guys really are, and what they know with chemistry and pool works with them. So really, the relationship between water and plaster, especially on the new plasters, understanding how volatile the water can get because of all the chemical reactions that are going off in the cement, and it's putting it into the swimming pool and making your pH go through the roof. How important calcium hardness is to the survival of the finish. I mean, it's if you have a low calcium fill, it's pulling calcium out of that finish immediately. So what ramifications does that have? Our biggest callback is on great pools that the service company, we subcontract to a lot of pool builders and our homeowner will call up and say, "Hey, the pigment's coming out of your pigment's coming out of my finish." Like, no, you're not managing the pH properly and the alkalinity, and it's starting to cloud over, it's starting to scale over. We can fix it, but this is what happens. So understanding, especially on the service company side, understanding how that relationship, the LSI between water and new finish is most important.
Yes.
Right? And it doesn't end after the first 30 days. And if there's 30 days, cement cures to like 88%. It keeps going.
For
So
how long does it take?
Well, Mike, it's like could be
Cement hydrates forever.
Cement doesn't stop curing. I mean, look, the Hoover Dam, right? And they're talking about how that thing's however many years old, and it's still curing to its in the middle. But as far as managing the pH part of it, you're somewhere around, I say 90 to 120 days. I mean, the first season, you're always going to battle that. And we come up from the Northeast, from Connecticut, and our window is really small to manage this, right? So train your guys. Train your guys. Come to our startup program. It's amazing how important water and I didn't realize it till I came to this part, how important water chemistry is.
And they can do it virtual now. You guys have
Yes,
a
you
virtual
can.
class
Yeah.
now, so they have no excuse that they have to wait until the class is live somewhere.
Right.
So even in that, service guys are under the gun too, because we put in the ground all mined material. Okay, so we're at the mercy sometimes of what we're buying. So literally, we could use say we get 2 truckloads of sand, marble sand, truckload of cement. We do 10 pools in a neighborhood, one after another. They're all going to react different, even though it came off the same truck, the same crew. Because one day it's 60 degrees, one day it's 90, whatever the ratios are. So, it's hard on, National Plaster Council doesn't point fingers. It's hard on service guys, especially if they're getting paid to go there to start the pool up and they have to go back a week later because there's too much going on. I go to jobs that, carbonation, scale a little bit, with the pool builder, with the service guy. We plaster the pool. I yell at the homeowner. I'm not rude or screaming, but I say, here's the deal. You have 60,000 gallons of water. Guy gets it straightened out. Then it rains 2 days later. You either, and I don't say you need to pay this guy to come back more. That's something for them to discuss because I don't know if they have the capabilities. Everybody's short on everything, but, you have to do some work here. And, permission beforehand, I'll hand them an NPC startup card and the Bob Lowry book and say, do your homework.
I got all those
Do your
books when I
homework.
did
Oh, yeah.
my class.
Oh, yeah.
I have them sitting up on my bookshelf, and
Well-
the great thing is the card, the plasticized card that you get. You can keep that in your truck, and it doesn't. If it gets wet, it's not a big deal because it's all plasticized.
So when we do remodels, right, we resurface pools for homeowners, or even if they got service guys, we hand them the laminated startup card
Nice.
and we give them the Bob Lowry book.
There you
Each
go.
one and say, look at again. Then we go. these guys aren't going to be able to take care of this alone. You have to do some work. And here's the test kit you should buy. Now, we don't give them a test kit because there's always legalities behind that. So we say, here's the test kit you should buy. This out down the street. Read the instructions. Okay? And that's a funny thing, because if we give it to them and then they screw it up, it's our fault because we didn't train them enough. So that's why we tell them to go buy their own.
Interesting.
Kind of stinks, but, it's a lawyer thing. We're not lawyers. We avoid them.
But there
But,
is
so-
something. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say there is something to say, especially on the service side. When you have a brand new finish and you're hiring a service tech to come out, a lot of guys will have that 2-week startup program, but it doesn't end there. So after that 2 weeks or 30 days is done, I got to go back to those chemical reactions are still going off. Having a service tech there once a week, you're still fighting an uphill battle, and that's where Dave. I have to believe that's where Dave's going. Is that's when the homeowner can step in. Now, we understand that there's some high-end clients that just don't want to do anything about it. I'm paying you to do the service. I expect it to be that. So, guys, when you have a new finish, just make sure it's all about setting the expectation. Setting the expectation is so important, especially in these colored finishes and how water chemistry reacts with them. Do your diligence. Maybe offer a twice-a-week service for that year. It doesn't have to be permanent, but for that year, offer more visits so you can combat that pH climb.
So in saying that, the National Plaster Council has the white plaster agreement. Is that what it's called? The white plaster?
Yeah. I forget the exact term.
Okay, but there is a form that basically states that, plastic can check crack, it can color, model, it can do all this stuff. And if you're remodeling a pool, even plastering a pool, I would say that 99% of our builders have customers sign this. And when we sell remodels, if that isn't signed, we're not going. Okay, so the reason they sign it is that they've read it. So now they understand the expectations and what can not necessarily go wrong, but what is in, how do you put it? What is could happen, say. It doesn't mean it's structural. It doesn't mean it's a failure. It doesn't mean it's wrong. But it's in, the matrix of the mix, and however it works out. You take too long to fill your pool. Not the service guy's fault. Not the builder's fault. Not our fault. You were too cheap to spend $600 for water.
A lot
Whose
of problems
fault?
are from the homeowner.
Yeah.
Well, to a point, it's expectations.
It's not always 100% the service professional.
Oh, no. Most of the time it's not.
Right.
But you only can do what, if we need 10 guys on a job, we send 10 guys. Now, if we send 3 guys, we know where that's going. You're already behind the gun. You already lost the battle, right? So you send enough guys to win the battle. But, no, nothing's, let's be honest, 99% of service guys are good people and they're working their butts off. Real simple. But then again,
Totally agree.
they're going to these jobs and they're outgunned for a lot of reasons. So again, this is why, we show them the book and stuff and try to sit down with them for a few minutes and say, you got a nice $100,000 car there. Do you bring it in when you're supposed to for all the stuff that it needs? Yeah. Well, guess what? You got a living, breathing entity right now that needs your help. Because water's a living entity. If you don't feed it right, it's touching lunch. Okay? It's touching lunch. And it feeds. And you got to get the water balanced, keep it balanced. You can get your calcium hardness up. Okay, and all of a sudden it springs a leak. All of a sudden you have a lot of water from the house. It has no calcium in the water. You just brought that way down.
You're hooked up
Now
to
you're
water
scaling
softener.
again.
Yep.
So you have to test the water quite a bit. And, there's a lot to it. It's you got to know what you're doing. You got to put the effort in. You have the care. And, 99% of the time it's a homeowner. So, right.
Well, it's been great just having you show up on the podcast live, and the audience live got to hear some great education and tidbits from the National Plasters Council.
We're not just about the startup class. We have a lot of other programs
Yes,
that are in
tell
place.
them.
We have a show. We just had our national show in Atlanta. Next year, we're going to be in San Diego. We have a plethora of classes that are plaster specific. Some other business classes, water chemistry,
Material.
highly informative.
It is a great show
Again, I
out
go
there.
back to understanding the relationship between the water and the plaster is key. We have prep classes. We're going towards some plaster placement classes, and we have a lot of new education that's coming down the pipe.
And it's a great show. You need to educate yourself on everything, not just the basic classes of water chemistry, because this is very specific and different.
Very
So you've got to make sure that you educate yourself, because you can really mess things up, and it could be the service professionals' fault if they're doing startups and they don't know what they're doing.
Well,
So
it could be.
spend the money on the education.
Well, knowledge is power.
Yes, it is.
And the more
And
knowledge
you're
you
always learning, right?
Well, if I'm in the pool service business, I'm going there because that's where you really are. I mean, you come to these shows, they got classes, Atlantic City, a lot of classes, and you can learn a lot. But, then we have more specific classes on how to take care of pool finishes,
Yes.
because that's the business we're in.
Yes.
You
And
know,
that's a
and it's
very,
very
specific,
specific.
thing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
people need to make sure they understand that part of it as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So thank you so much for being
Thanks for
on.
inviting us.
Pleasure.
It's great
Yeah.
to be here.
You were the neighbor across the way, and I figured, you know what?
can see it right there. See that?
Yeah, there you go.
Yes,
Stop
literally
on by.
across the
Yeah.
way. Stop on by if you're in the Everything Under the Sun trade show in Orlando, Florida. They've got nobody standing at the booth right now, so come over and say
Because
hi.
there is nobody in the booth right now.
But I
Oh,
will
thank you.
I'll be having a recorded podcast episode that'll probably be like 40 minutes long with.
Yeah, Kent's a wealth of
I
information.
think that's who it is.
It's Kent Westfall. I believe you're talking. If it's anybody, it's Kent.
He's been around the block a couple of
About
times.
Sunday evening, I'll look at my schedule for Monday, and then I'll know definitely who it is. They emailed me the other day
Okay.
their questions, so because I always ask my guest that knows their area better than I do, give me the questions you want me to lead with.
Mhm.
And it always works out well. And with NPC, I want you guys to give me the questions, because that's what I'm leading with, and then they're talking. So
Unless we're sitting across the hall from you.
then we
Then
just
you,
make
then you
it
just
up.
then you just bushwhack
Yeah.
us, right? Okay.
Yeah,
It's all good.
we were. Hey, it's either that or I'm going to talk for 2 hours, which anybody who knows me knows I
You seem
could.
to do it well. Okay.
I could talk to a door or a wall.
This is great.
As
Thank
say.
you
All right.
so much, guys,
Appreciate
for
it.
coming
Thank you.
over. Nice to
Appreciate it.
meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Same here. Bye bye. Have
I'm
fun.
going to grab, if he's allowed to come over. Hey, Stenner. Hey, Stenner, come over really quick. Come be on the podcast. Say hi.
Hello.
Say who you are. You're on Instagram Live and Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So you're all over social media right now. So we met at the AOAP show
Yes.
in St. Petersburg, which is more a different crowd than this. It was a
Yes.
parks and recreation crowd.
Yeah. But
And
more water
YMCA and that kind of thing. This is pool companies, pool service, pool builders, so a little
Yes.
bit different.
Uh-huh.
And we see lots of your Stenner pumps down here on public swimming pools.
Yes.
So-
Mostly commercial applications. and stuff.
Yes, definitely. From my previous job that people know me, I did public pool inspections, and almost every new public pool in Florida is coming online with these pumps. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about Stenner.
Well, we've been in the pool business. It's kind of like our namesake since around 1957. Our founder, Gustav Stenner, he originally manufactured gyroscopes for World War II and sold them to the government.
Oh my gosh.
And he saw-
Yes, I remember this.
Yes, and he saw the need for peristaltic technology in the pool pump industry, and so he kind of transitioned into manufacturing peristaltic pumps, and we've kind of maintained the same design for our classic adjustable all this time, and slowly been updating and renovating our pumps and our designs as our customers have asked us to kind of update it, and we just try to listen to what's going on in the pool world and just anywhere in the water.
Well, they're great pumps because they're peristaltic pumps, and they don't really. There's something special about them. So, tell us a few special things about them.
Well, with peristaltic technology, you never really run into a backfeeding issue.
That's where I
And
was going with it.
and
I was
also
looking for the word
self-priming.
backfeeding. Yeah,
Yes.
self-priming.
Self-primes up to 25 feet.
So you could suck air, and then it could, if it's back in solution, it would start feeding again. Yeah, it's a great thing. I've seen some where they're feeding air because the tank ran out. They fill it, then it would be back again.
Yeah,
running.
so with us, we can run dry. It's not going to really be an issue.
It's not going to damage it. Yeah.
It's not going to damage it.
Right.
Like with the diaphragm pump, you'll get the airflow back into it, the back feeding. That could just kind of damage a lot of what's going on in
And
the internal components.
it's easy to take them apart and service the
Yes.
inside.
I mean-
And let's give you a quick plug, especially those local, training.
Training,
The
yes, we
training that
offer.
you guys offer. We definitely want them to know, because how many people don't know you guys offer free training? You'll come to their shop
Yes, too
or
many
to
people don't know.
SCP or wherever in the local area and set up a class.
We have a new training vehicle that actually will come to you, and we have you open up our back doors to our big, large Ford Transit, and we have our whole pump line actually protrude out on a shelf, and we get to kind of do our classic
That's cool.
Stenter certification, where we train you and just give you all things Stenter and just
And
kind
they
of
get a little certification out of that, right?
yes.
So if you want to keep adding to your education, those nice certificates that you like to collect,
Yes, we'll print
Go
out our
ahead and do
certificate for
that.
you, and we'll send it to you, and you'll be Stenter certified
Yes.
Stenter technician.
yes. Well, thank you for being on the podcast. I know I stole you from your booth across the way. Let you
good.
get back.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to join
You
in real quick.
too. You too.
Yeah.
It's nice to run into you a couple of times.
Yeah.
It looks like I got a waiting
Party
line.
crasher.
So here's
Cool boy in the house.
Oh my gosh, I know who you are. How are you?
I didn't mean to crash your
that's
party.
that's the name on social media, right?
That's the name on social media.
So
That's the name
cool
on my
boy.
badge, too.
Yes, you're all over TikTok. You're on TikTok and Facebook and everything else. So say hi.
Hello, everybody.
And what do you want to talk about today? How's the show?
The show was great.
What are
I
you
was
in-
actually just talking to the Lasco guy about getting these sweet teas. Like,
Oh, sweet. Show
this
everybody.
would change
out
the
here.
game right
Can they
here.
see
You
it?
can see this? A sweet tea.
There you go. You're getting some cool stuff at the show. Did you do
I'm
any
collecting all
education,
kinds of
or are you just here in the trade show?
I'm just here for the trade show because I'm
Hey,
here with
there's
my
plenty of
family from
educate-
Jersey, so
Plenty of education just in the trade show alone,
plenty of
isn't it?
education and a lot of nice people here.
It's like a family, isn't it?
It is like a family. I've seen all these people that I only know from social media, and
Yeah.
they're like my family. I saw Leon Davies, I saw Andrea Nini, I saw
Josh Davies hasn't come to the podcast yet. I'm calling you
I
out.
saw Rudy Stankiewicz.
Rudy Stankiewicz
Looking
hasn't
for
come
Jeff
to the
Ham.
live podcast.
Where's Jeff Ham? Have you seen him?
I have not seen Jeff Hammond. I'm going to call him out too. Who else do we want to call out here? They need to come visit me. All your Facebook peeps want to see you. Come say hi because
I'm so glad I got to see you. I came here before you weren't here. I was here early this morning.
I'm 2 to 4 today live because it's a live podcast.
That's
So
awesome.
it,
Hello, everybody.
how long could Lauren talk? If you really
I
know
can't
me,
talk
I
that
could
long.
talk for a long time.
I'm gonna get a drink.
So, I mean, I teach CPO classes, so I talk for 16 hours.
I do commercial pool management, so
There you
we're in the
go.
same business.
My husband's joke is you found the perfect job for you. You get paid pretty well to go talk to
Working
other
with commercial
people.
pools is the best thing ever.
But his joke is, and he actually means it, you get paid really well to go talk to other people and not me. He loves it.
That's
He gets
great.
2 days away from me talking to him about pools. And he's an accountant. So he comes home and I'm like, he's talking about reports and stuff. Yes, Ben Broom, I'm talking about you if you see me from work. I don't know if you're seeing that I'm on Facebook Live because he's on Facebook, but not all the time. He can see it later.
Is this part of your group?
This is everything. It's streaming to 3 Facebook pages, a Facebook group, and 2 YouTube channels, and then this is Instagram Live.
That's awesome.
So you're all over it.
It was great to see you.
I hope to get another Instagram Live going with my iPad, but it wasn't working. So that I should have gone through with that and tried to connect it to my
Are
hotspot.
these your stickers?
No, that is Skimmer. Skimmer is my big podcast sponsor. They're my biggest one. So I wanted to honor them by doing something cool and doing the podcast
I
live.
will definitely put this sticker on something cool, like one of my portable vacuums that I like to build.
So they really like helping with education, and that's how I see my podcast is I do CPO classes. I get paid for that.
I see
But I
you
like-
all over Facebook.
Too much. I'm
Not
way
too
too
much.
much on it.
That's how you have to do it.
And
Everybody has to know who you are. on
Are you
social
in the
media.
pool cleaning mafia group?
I was. They kicked me out.
Oh no, I didn't want to bring that up. No, don't do that. I'm admin there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Joshua Tamargo, Pool Cleaning Mafia is awesome. I love the group because it's fun.
I love Facebook groups.
And-
Somehow I got kicked out of there, though.
It happens.
I'm abrasive sometimes.
I try to get along with everybody, but I'm kind of a nerd as well. I'm kind of a nerdy
I'm a
person.
pool
If you
nerd.
get to know me,
I'm a
I was a
pool nerd
bookworm, you know. So in my past life, I was a pool inspector for 17 years for the Department of Health.
That's a tough job.
It was, but I tried to have my fun with it. I really had a lot of fun with my contractors in my county.
It's really funny about pool inspectors. Like one pool inspector will come and they just want to look for signage, check the test kit. They don't want to go anywhere near the pump room. They're like scared to climb down into these dungeon pump rooms that I have to climb in all the time.
Oh, I had so many I climbed into, and some of them I shouldn't have gone into. They were way too dangerous, where they were like, you walk down the stairs, and then there was like 2 feet of water or a foot and a half of water down there. And their idea of keeping that safe was putting concrete blocks that were just above the water level for the pool technician and the pool inspector to walk on.
That sounds safe.
It's not safe.
It's not safe.
You're talking to an authorized OSHA 10 and OSHA 30 trainer, so
I've
that's
had health
not safe.
inspectors, they're like, go down there and take a picture of the flow meter for me. I'm like, okay. And I climb down to these dungeon pump
But
rooms.
how can they tell that flow meter is working?
They
Because
can't.
it'll look like it's
They
a
just-
stuck flow
They
meter on a
don't wanna
picture.
Climb down to these dangerous pump rooms. I don't know who builds these commercial pools where
Some
you
of them
climb
are
down a
really
ladder.
old, though. You know, some of them have been in the ground since the 60s and 70s.
In New
so-
Jersey, a lot of the condo pools are all like that. You have to climb down these dangerous metal stairs.
We have a lot less public pools like that down here in Florida because we don't really have basements, and so you can't really go down, or you do fill up with water because you're in the water table. So we have a few old pools that have kind of where you walk downstairs into a concrete pump room, but most of them are above ground. We have like Backpack and Aquaworks and all kinds of companies that put in the fiberglass enclosures,
Yeah.
and you lift up the lids.
I've never seen any of those in New Jersey.
Right. That's
completely
all we
different.
have here. We don't really have a lot of indoor pump rooms. A lot of the new pools are all above ground, and they're all ventilated easily because you've got open vents
That's
through
the
it.
biggest problem. A lot of these pump rooms don't have ventilation,
Right.
and the
And they become
facilities don't
dangerous.
because they're not in the pump rooms. I'm in the pump room.
Right.
Everything in the pump room is rusted.
What about those
corroded.
pool heaters and pump rooms up north when they're not properly vented?
It's not so much the pool heaters because they keep pool heaters outside.
See, there's
and-
some up north that are inside the pump rooms, and those are the dangerous ones because if they're not vented, the venting proper, then you get carbon monoxide that can build up in that pump room. So it becomes dangerous.
The worst is pools that run off trichlor that have pump rooms where it's dark and damp
Yep.
and everything is rusted.
Yep.
You get like 3 years out of a pump. You might get 2 years out of a heater. But like I was saying with the health department, some health departments don't want to look at the pump rooms. Some health departments just want to check your signage. Everyone is completely different.
They have what we call their pet peeves
Exactly.
and how they were trained and who they were trained by, what they focus on.
I had a pool fail from the health department because we didn't have lids on the garbage cans. Everything was perfectly fine.
On garbage cans or
She
on
said
chemical
that there
storage
was a
tanks?
garbage cans because she said that somebody could get stung by a bee if there wasn't a lid on the garbage can. I don't know if that was a code or not, but she told us that until we had lids in the garbage cans, she would not pass us for
That's
inspection.
interesting. I mean, one of the ones that I got contested a lot was the chemical tanks not being labeled. It's a type
That's a
A.
big one.
It's a type A Florida building code violation. It closes your pool, just that violation. And the reason why that's a big deal is because of mixing of chemicals. We had 3 instances in
We
our
had that happen in
county.
New Jersey a couple years ago.
We had 3 different instances that happened with pool techs in our little county, and we only had 400 public swimming pools for the county health department I worked for. Palm Beach County and South have thousands and thousands, so there's definitely counties that have way more public pools than we had, and we had 3 things happen. Think about the bigger counties and how often it would happen. They put muriatic acid into their chlorine storage tank, so then they ended up at the ER.
You can actually Google it. In New Jersey, in Morris Plains, a couple years ago, there was a swim class going on in the pool, and one of the pool techs poured hydrochloric acid into the chlorine vat, and it pumped into the pool, and people got gassed, and people had to go to the hospital because of it.
You're creating mustard gas or chlorine gas, so it's very dangerous. I mean, one of the things I see a lot in the industry, which is going to be really hard to ever change, is how many pool guys. When I teach classes, I ask them to raise their hand. How many of you put your muriatic acid bottle in your liquid chlorine bottle on your tray on the portable pool vacuum, and it's on the back of your vehicle driving around? You get rear-ended. Your pool vacuum, okay, yes, $2,000 gone, but now you've added chlorine gas to a simple fender bender that the person behind you might end up at the hospital because of the chlorine gas, because those two things mix together. So there's dangerous things that we see in the industry that's done that would, they're kind of bad habits, things that people do constantly, thinking, no, it's never going to happen.
Hypo is another.
Yeah, oh my God, it explodes.
I've actually created a bomb before. I didn't even know it.
Oh God, I've
I
seen
was
so many
closing a
things
pool, and I
online.
took the leftover chemicals and decided I'll make a floater and throw it in the pool. So I took a 100-pound Cal Hypo bucket that had about a quarter powder in it, drilled some holes in the side, threw some trichlor in it, put some empty antifreeze bottles, put the top on, threw it in the pool thinking it was going to be a chlorine floater. About 15 minutes went by. Our eyes started burning. We couldn't get anywhere near the pool. This is like 150,000 gallon commercial pool. It's humongous. So then about another 15 minutes go by. Boom! The lid shot off the bucket, like 20 feet in the air. It sounded like a bomb went off. People were coming out of their apartments looking at the pool. And we're like this. Our eyes are burning. It was insane.
Yes, you're doing it. Hillary's getting on. Hillary McKeach is here. She's sitting in the chair and she doesn't want to come on, guys. Come on.
Well, it was
Tell her
nice
to
sitting
come
down
on.
with you. I'm going to keep it moving.
Yeah, but
Thank
your
you.
your story is perfect because
Sure.
I'm teaching
I'm so glad I
I'm
got to meet
teaching
you.
OSHA 10 training now for the pool industry. So that was a perfect story for that.
Okay. I have all kinds of
That's
dangerous stories
great.
that you
I'll
don't
have
hear
to
about.
contact you.
All right. Well, thank you.
Hillary's gonna shift over. She's one of my past
Hello, darling.
students. Hey, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
gal?
How are you?
Good. I'm so glad you made it this year. I don't think we ever met in person.
No, we
were
didn't actually.
We were supposed to.
Yeah.
You were in my in-person class.
Yeah.
That
No,
yes,
it was
it's
your
switched.
first.
It was going to be in Stewart, right?
I think it was
And
your
it was-
first online class.
Well, I had to switch you to online.
Yep.
You were supposed to be in person in Stewart, and COVID happened 2 years ago?
Yeah.
About now.
It was 2 years ago.
And I had to flip
Which means
that
I need to
class
renew.
virtual. No, you're good for 5 years.
Oh, good.
Yes, CPO is good for 5 years. So you got 3 years.
Look at you, cutie. You're
So-
just talking alive here the whole time.
Oh yes, I'm here till 4.
You're almost done.
2 to 4. What is it now?
So it's 3.
What time is it? Is it 3?
Yeah. You're getting there.
Cool. I have an
I
hour.
love some skimmer.
You like Skimmer?
Love it.
They're my big podcast
My
sponsor,
absolute
so I've
favorite.
got to put a plug in for them. So
Yeah,
I'm glad that
I
people that like them are
absolutely
sitting
love
down
them.
at the podcast.
They're great. I don't know. I couldn't live without them, to be honest.
Saves you time, saves
Yeah,
you money.
We're almost 300 customers now.
My understanding is like if you're big and you got a lot of techs and say one of your techs is sick, it's easy to switch stuff around to another tech
It is super
and then
simple.
switch it back or whatever.
Super
so,
simple. You can switch a one time or a permanent move. And,
Right.
Yeah,
and it
it's
used
great.
to be the old the paper one. So
I never
it was
went
very
paper.
hard to do that on paper. And
I
all
went
the
straight
paper,
to skimmer from
all
day
the
one.
paper you had to keep.
I went
You-
straight to
You
skimmer.
could do inventory. Do you
Yes,
do your
I
inventory?
do my
through it too?
inventory through it. I track how much each technician uses and which
so that
pools
they don't
use what.
clean other pools on the side.
For
that,
sure.
That happens, right,
No,
guys?
never.
Yes. How many technicians you got now?
8.
Oh
Some
my!
are part time, so they only do
Wow.
like 20 or 30 pools. You know,
When I taught you 2 years ago, was it just you and your husband?
it was just me. He has
Just
a real
you.
job. I just let him be in the name.
Just
Hillbilly
you.
pool cleaning is
And
us.
now you got 8 part-time or whatever people under you. That's amazing.
I think we have
growth.
4 full time. The rest are part time, and then I've got a part time office girl.
That is amazing.
Lets me
You
get out and do stuff like this.
expanded.
Yeah, it's very
That's
cool.
so cool.
Yeah.
That's a testament to somebody.
It's
And
been
you-
all social
Have you
media too.
ever worked in pool service before?
I never cleaned a pool till I started the business.
Listen,
People
guys.
hate me,
here's-
my kind of people, but
You got to have the
I
passion.
knew recurring revenue was the model I was looking for, and
Yes.
Florida has a
Yes.
pool in every house, so why not go with it?
But tell them a
Yeah,
little bit
social
of
media.
tidbits.
I've done
how
a lot
you
of
grew
all my
in 2
marketing
years.
has been through social media and the moms groups. I've joined every single mom's group from a 50-mile radius of where we are, and
So
all of
even
my,
if you're a guy,
even if you're a guy,
join
there's a
the
lot of
moms
yeah.
group.
There's a lot of guys in the moms groups or parent groups they call them, And then
There
I
you
just
go.
do a lot of volunteering in the local communities. So, and I encourage my employees to volunteer. I pay them to go volunteer because the more you give, the more you get.
Yep.
So if they volunteer in the community, it makes them feel good. They get a little money for it, and we can pick up pools.
It's called networking,
It
right?
is,
You're doing
absolutely.
local networking
Yeah.
because you're, of course, working in a local area.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about like networking all over the country like I am.
All of our
But for
local
you
chambers
guys,
of commerce, they're great.
Yes,
yeah.
all that's great. Get in with your pool builders, the Facebook groups, all the parent ones
Yeah,
you talked
Facebook.
about.
Those are the only ones
You've
I
got
can.
locality-based Facebook groups too. Are you in those? Like
Uh,
Stewart?
yeah, there
there's
are
different
some of
ones
those.
like
I mean,
that.
yeah, Stewart groups, and I'm telling you, we haven't paid for any marketing
That's
aside
awesome.
for some logos on the trucks and some shirts,
Yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But no, it's
Awesome.
been fun, and I appreciate learning from you. And I'm gonna get my guys back through there. I need to get them back through.
I
We're
love
small-
educating.
Yeah,
I love
you're doing good at
educating.
it.
It's
So you're
fun.
like you're not no health department at all anymore.
No, I
Nice.
left a year and a half ago.
Nice.
And I'm loving it. And actually, I have an employee with me at the show. She's walking the trade show right now.
Great.
But she was my prior boss
Oh,
at
fun.
the health department.
Oh, fun.
She left after 38 years and retired. So she did the full ride,
Wow.
full retirement. I couldn't stay that long. I was in
How many
state
years
government.
you did?
I had 19 years in
That's a
state
long
government.
time.
So I'll still get a pension,
Right.
but I have to wait. I'm too young to collect yet
Good.
because you have to do 30 years.
Right.
So I left because I wanted to have fun and imagination come back and just,
No, it is. It's
you
so
know,
fun. And you know what? We spend so much time working. You really do need to enjoy what you're doing.
That's what I figured out. I'm in my mid 40s. I turned 45 next
I
month.
started, in my
And-
early 40s. It's the same, like,
Yeah.
I'm done running someone else's business 100 hours a week.
I wanted to
I run
have
my own for 100 hours a week.
time is different to us at this point in time than it was when we were 35.
Oh, for
so
sure.
I wanted to do something that I was going to love and just really enjoy. And I can see it all over you that
Oh,
you
yeah.
are.
I love it.
This is a fun industry,
It
isn't
is a fun industry, and it's really been welcoming. Everybody I've met has been really helpful.
Yeah.
I mean,
We have
I
some
don't,
great
I don't
Facebook-
really run into a person that's not
What's
helpful.
some of your favorite cool Facebook groups
Oh,
that you're
geez.
in? Like the actual industry ones. Are you in Pool Cleaning Mafia?
I don't think so.
You gotta join.
Yeah,
Pool
no, I don't
Cleaning
think I'm in that
Mafia.
one. I think I'm in 14 PSI.
I'm in that one. I'm in too many.
Yeah, you're in probably quite a few. I don't want to get involved in things I can't be involved in.
Pool
So
Cleaning
that's
Mafia
a good one.
is a fun
What's
one.
is it? Talking pools, I think is fun.
That one's fun, very informative. That's Rudy's.
And I think
Attached to his podcast.
I need to meet him. Where is he? Is he here?
He's at the IPSA booth.
Going there next.
Yes.
I'm coming for you.
I already ran into them and ran into Andrew. Already saw Andrea Nanini.
Oh, yeah.
And Rudy Stankiewicz. And I'm trying to remember who else is there. Oh, Heather Linton. So everybody knows who that is. So Heather
fun.
Linton came all the way from Texas. So that was fun. Just seeing people we know on social media and saying hi.
Yeah.
So
it's
we
pretty
never
fun.
actually met in person until live on the podcast.
Live on the podcast. Here we are.
She was my CPO student 2 years ago, and I
Webcast.
I'm
Dude,
good
that
at
was crazy.
I'm gonna grab her eventually into my OSHA 10 class. She's got to
Oh,
be
gosh.
in my first
I don't know about that.
class, one of my first classes.
My husband teaches OSHA 10 also.
Does he?
He would be pretty mad at me if I would. I think I would probably be geared differently, right?
Mine's geared to the pool
Pools
industry.
and his is geared towards
So
construction.
my hazardous materials is for the service side that
Right.
you're on.
Yeah, I'll definitely
pool
get it there.
service.
We'll do it eventually.
We will actually talk about the chemicals you use, not what his construction companies use.
There
It's a
you
lot
go.
different.
There you go.
So anybody that's interested, I'm doing that OSHA 10. It'll be in June. I think the 17th and 18th will be a live
Where?
OSHA class.
Oh, live.
Live Zoom OSHA class.
Zoom. That's the only, you know what? I was successful through the last 3 years to do no Zoom classes except for yours.
Yes, and Zoom, I've gotten really good at Zoom,
I
and
bet
I've
you
learned
have.
as I've gone
Yeah.
along teaching virtual classes. It was a learning experience, but you just gotta try to keep it fun and interactive, and keep people awake.
Oh, yeah.
I had somebody from the Philippines taking my class
Take a nap?
last year, and he was taking his test. And we're taking the test our time zone, which is like between 4 and 7 p.m. Eastern time, and it was like 1 a.m. in the morning for him.
Oh,
So I saw him almost falling asleep. and I had to come off mute really quick. Hey,
Hey, you
look
might want to
like
wake
you
up.
Yeah,
Go get some coffee.
but I was interrupting other people
Right.
that I'm watching. But there was no way to call him because I would have been in charge of the yin yang. So
That's
the only
funny.
way I could get him was through
Right.
Zoom. So that was the only person I've had in a virtual class look like they were going to fall asleep. Now, I had an in-person class a few years ago in Leesburg, and I had a kid who showed up to class, and he literally fell asleep in his chair and fell out of it. And I was like, he's not going to pass this test tomorrow. He passed the test with a 96%. I couldn't believe it. He had been in the industry, probably taken the class before.
Right.
And he was just there to recertify or whatever.
Right.
He let it expire. But it was hilarious. Everybody was like, we're cracking up.
That's awesome.
You know, it's so fun to educate people and get them where they need to be on workplace health and safety, keeping the pool healthy and safe. The CPI class is a cool one now too. The certified pool inspector one. That was astronomical how quick that grew up. As a live virtual class. So.
Well, cool, Lauren. You're doing great.
Thank
I'm
you
so
so
glad
much
to
for being
finally
on the
get to
live
meet you in person. No
podcast.
problem.
Go
Thank you
catch
for
Rudy
everything.
and them. They're
I
that
will.
way. They're
I'll
on
go
the
find
corner that way.
All right, sounds good. All right, you guys are up.
You guys up?
Come on, get in the seat.
We're on the live podcast, so let's talk about pools.
Love you, Lauren.
You too. Hey, Cindy, you want to come say hi? I had your other comrade here, but I'm trying to fill time because they don't want to hear me talk.
Oh,
And a lot of people know you. Come on, everybody knows you.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about that.
Cindy Schreiber with Stenner Pump Company.
Yes.
They're my neighbor across the way, and the other gentleman is kind of new with the company.
Yes, he's been with us for 9 months, and he's in training. He's going to help us take care of some of the Southeast region and some of North Florida.
Awesome.
I'm still going to be around in Florida, of course, but Mike's doing a very good job with us. He's learning a lot, especially at this show. This is the best event, so you guys need to make sure to come by and see us.
I don't even know if this is still on. Oh, this is off. Wow. This went off.
It looks like we're live on the TV.
You're
here.
live on there. This was Instagram live. I'm going to turn it back on.
Very good.
There we go. Can you see yourself?
Yes, I can.
It's Instagram live.
Hello, everybody in Instagram world. So, we're working the Everything Under the Sun Pool Expo here. We're at booth number 1222. If you're here, be sure to come by the booth and see us. We're showcasing the new S variable pump that's been out. It's kind of a unique pump that has all the features that folks have been asking for many years. So it's got a fully enclosed NEMA 4X motor. It's got built-in leak detection. It also has backup pump capabilities. So really neat technology, and it has a larger pump head option, so you can get up to 150 gallons per day out of a single pump head. So if you have any large applications, it's a really good go-to.
So it'd be really great for Parks and Rec.
Yes, absolutely.
Like they're huge pools. Like
Yes.
we have one down in Sebastian, and they had Stenner pumps on it, but they had to put they had one
double
motor and a double head.
Yes.
So they could switch that out to the single head, and they'd be able to meet their
That's
output
right.
needs.
They could on the S
Wow.
variable pump. They have that option to go to the larger pump head and achieve that higher volume output. And it comes with a 2-year warranty, which is a year better than the standard 1-year warranty we get on the Stenner Classic series. So just reach out to us at Stenner Pump Company if you guys need training. We're on the road doing free technical, our certified Stenner technician training, and certainly you're always welcome to come see us at the factory there in Jacksonville, Florida,
There
where
you go.
we'll roll out the red carpet.
Yes, they do.
We can give you a full tour of the factory. It's really fun to see.
And we talked about earlier with the other gentleman about the free training that you guys had. We
Yes.
talked about the new vehicle.
Yeah, we have a new Stenner training vehicle, so certainly we're mobile. This is what we do. So if you guys need training, we'll come to your facility. We bring all the supplies. It's hands-on training, and we cover everything from proper installation to properly sizing it to the right application, how to tear apart a feed rate control. Everybody gets their own greaseless unit so they can actually get into it, learn about the wear items, and how to change out and make these quick in-the-field repairs to keep their pumps up and running accurately and achieve a long life that they need on those pools.
Awesome. And I see you every time I'm
I
here,
know.
and you got that beautiful smile.
Thank you so much,
I love
Lauren.
seeing
It's always
you every
fun
time.
to run into you guys here at the show, and so come and see us. We're right over here.
Yes, it's so fun to be doing this, even though it's a brief time.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being on the live podcast of the Let's Talk About Pools podcast.
That's right. Thanks for having me. Bye,
First
Lauren.
time live.
That's right.
Thank you so much for
Thank
being on.
you.
You have a good day.
You too. Bye, guys.
All right, so it's just me again, guys. So see if I can catch up on any comments here. We've been going for an hour now, and I don't have any comments from anybody. I don't know if people have stopped commenting, but go ahead and comment, ask questions. And anything you want to ask about the show here, what's going on, about Skimmer. It's just really, really fun. And I'm going to switch Instagram Live to my other channel. So I know you guys have been watching from here. I'm actually going to Instagram Live on CPO classes now. But hi. I'm waiting for my next visitor when they come by. I'm going to be switching to the CPO classes for the next hour, guys. So I'm going to end this live feed. I'm just switching over, guys. I'm going to be live on CPO classes now. So I'll set it up over here, and hopefully you'll be able to see all of us on here. So waiting for anybody to come by that wants to talk, but I will plug some stuff in here. So as well as having the podcast, please listen to the podcast. Let's Talk About Pools podcast. I have 30 episodes up, season 2, episode 30. It was up last week, and the last episode was on Pool RX. The episode 29 was on Riptide, which they're here at the show. They're part of the Tools of the Modern Pool Professional. I've interviewed Primate. You can go back to their episode, Primate Pool Tools, another wonderful company, part of the Tools of the Modern Pool Professional. So definitely let me know what you think. There's a podcast group on Facebook for the Let's Talk About Pools podcast. So, reach out through there, give me comments on any, episodes that you like, any episodes that you'd like to see that I haven't put up yet, and maybe I haven't recorded. It's great to get ideas from my audience. Just very honored to be able to do this live podcast today. Very thankful about Skimmer allowing me to share space with them for a couple hours. So Monday I'll be interviewing National Plaster Council, and I've interviewed Stenner Pump Company, Cindy, so you can go back and listen to that podcast episode. But it's been really, really fun. This is a fun ride, fun show to be at, and if you know me, I've also got Space Coast Pool School, so you guys need any education, definitely come reach out to education with the CPO class and the Certified Pool Operator course. I teach it virtual, fusion and full 2-day virtual class. Teach in-person CPO classes in Florida. Been doing it for 10 years. My next class is in Daytona Beach on March 26th and 27th, in-person class. And then my next in-person class is on the West Coast. There's Pool Boy in the house walking by again. Since he's so popular in social media and there's nobody here, you don't want to hear me talk. Let's let him talk again.
It's funny. I was telling you about asking for the sweet teas from Lasco. And
Yeah.
I posted into the Facebook groups, and people didn't believe me that I was like over there. I was showing them I'm holding the two sweet 90s together.
Yeah.
Showing them how we want a sweet tea for better flow.
Oh, sweet. So you got something cool if you walk away with one thing from the show, right?
I got all kinds of cool stuff. I'm serious.
You walk away with free stuff here. They give away some free
I
stuff.
told
It's
them
awesome.
that the resort I'm staying at, I didn't trust the pool water. That my son was swimming in the pool, and I pulled him out, and he smelled like chlorine. So Lamont was nice enough to give me these test strips. Thank
Nice.
you. So I can go back to the hotel and test the kiddie pool. Also got, let's see what this is.
Ooh, I've not seen that before. What is that?
It's the scum ball.
Oh,
This actually goes inside the skimmer, and
Neat.
it's supposed to pull grease out of the pool water, which is kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, all the body lotions and body oils and stuff that
Which
people
is
are
like a big
wearing.
problem with commercial pools, especially spas. People like to spray themselves down
Yes.
with suntan lotion.
They don't shower
off.
off when they're, even when it's a public pool.
I've seen people spray it on while they're in the pool, and you just see grease trails all over the surface.
Did you ever hear about that one video on social media that went viral a few years ago? And it was a Florida hotel pool. A lady was caught on video shaving her legs in a hotel pool.
That's disgusting.
And you could see in the video her cleaning the hair off her razor and then go back to shaving. And there were kids in the pool around her. It was really, really gross.
I've seen people get into commercial pools and start splashing water on their armpits like they're in the bath.
Oh God, we had so many hotel pools, spas. I'd walk in and they're foaming, and they're like, we have homeless people that come and wash up in their hot tubs. They climb the fence or whatever, and they get washed up because they didn't have anywhere to go.
It's gross.
So there's a lot of stuff you guys think about with public pools that's a little bit different than the private pool.
Part of me, while I dig through my bag of swag,
It's like he's a magician pulling things out of a bag here. So it's what magic
I
trick is he
did
going to
happen
pull
to
out?
grab the skimmer.
There you go, skimmer. Kevin, you got to come say hi. Yes, awesome.
Brandon Newbacher
Chlorine
is here
King
somewhere
is in
looking
the
for me.
house. Chlorine King is in the house. Yes, he's right there. He's a big
That's
Riptide guy. So we'll get him to come over and
He's
talk
another
about
big time
Riptide.
social media guy.
Oh, he's awesome. I watch a lot of his social media videos. He has a lot of good training videos. I actually listened to a few of them from my OSHA 10 class. He had a lot of really good things on there that I was able to share for safety. He does a lot of good safety stuff. And he's looking for something cool in this bag.
I
He
have
wants
the
to show
coolest
it.
thing ever, and I can't find it.
He wants to show it. He really wants to show it. He's got a lot of literature here, so he's going to go home and read all about
That's only a
Hayward
small portion.
products. Let's see what else. Oh, is this the magazine? Oh, we got to show this because they're another big podcast sponsor, Pool Magazine. Poolmagazine.com and poolmarketing.com. Thank you, Joe Trusty and Marianne Trusty. I know we're able to make
Thank you
it
so
here.
much. The magazine is awesome.
It
I picked it
is,
up
and
from the Viking table, I think.
Yes,
And,
and they had some there, and then they also have some over at the IPSA booth. So that's awesome. I don't know if this is the one that I'm featured in. Let's see if I'm famous in print here. I think this is the one I'm in. I'm possibly in this one. There we go. Read Pool Magazine. Lauren Broom is in it. All about the podcast and what I've been up to since COVID started and I left the health department. Read. It's an awesome magazine. So thank you, Viking, for helping them out too. But Pool Magazine's a big podcast sponsor.
I'm so upset I lost my pen.
Oh no, is that what you were looking for? The cool pen that you got?
Motor Seals actually has a pen with like a little shaft seal attached to the pen. It was like the coolest thing ever. It's like a
Oh,
tiny
you'll have to go back
cool
to
motor
that
shaft
booth
seal.
and
I
get
definitely
that.
will.
Are they far away? You should
I really
go.
want that.
You should go run and find it and show it to us on the podcast.
I'm definitely gonna have to go back.
It's gotta be in there.
That was one of my favorite things that I found.
So thank you, Joe and Marianne. You guys are awesome. Keep up the great work with everything you're doing in the pool industry. I know you're at the CareCraft show with my other friend, Harold Evans from Arenda. Thank you, Harold, and everybody from Arenda. You guys are another awesome educational provider.
Also found these cool little clips that somebody had in the back
Ooh, let's show those.
because
So
They're
it
selling
looks
those
like
for
this.
residential pools, but people don't know that commercial pools in New Jersey, it's required that you have like your pipe marked and the direction of flow.
Awesome.
So in New Jersey, for commercial pools, we actually have to put stickers on the plumbing to show the direction of water flow. So on the intake of the pump, you have to have an arrow showing the direction of the water flowing into the pump, out of the pump, into the filters, the returns, through heaters, out of the heaters. So this is actually like a really cool product. I forget the guy's name.
That's awesome. They were showing all this cool
But
stuff
there
that
is a
you
ton
found.
of cool swag here at the Everything Under the Sun Pool Show.
So if you haven't made it, you can go to my Facebook page, and somewhere along the line I posted a code for you to get into the trade show for free.
I got in for free through Hayward, actually.
Yeah, there's lots of them sharing codes. So find a code somewhere. If you don't find it, Facebook message me if you want to come out to the show tomorrow because you're close. And then I won't be here with the podcast. You would have missed me, but I'll be here. I'll be walking the show. You can find me. I'll be doing education in the morning, but I'll be in the trade show until 3:30 tomorrow walking it because I certainly didn't make the whole way through today.
There's a lot of cool stuff.
There's a lot of cool stuff and a lot of people.
A
I
lot of
can
new
sit,
technology with new pumps.
Come-
Pentair, Hayward, Jandy, a lot of really cool stuff.
yes,
You should
it's
definitely check out the Hayward stuff. They have
and they weren't here last year, so I really got to check out their stuff this year because they COVID really shrunk the show last year, but it was an awesome show still.
I actually want to go to the Atlantic City show, but it was too cold. We had snow.
Yeah, you've
So
been. How
I'm
long you been in
excited.
Florida now?
Just 3 days.
3 days. Oh, you're from New Jersey. You're
New
not
Jersey.
from Florida. I thought you
Not
were
at
from
all.
Florida.
I flew down here. I had to make a trade-off with my family. They wanted to go to Disney, and I wanted to come to the pool show, so it worked out perfect. We went to Disney for 2 days, and then I got my day at the pool show.
Come over here, Laura Costanza. People know you on social media. Sit in the hot seat.
Come over here. Sit over here. I have to go get my shafts.
He lost something he wants to show that was really cool swag that he wants to show on the podcast. So now I've got Laura Costanza. She's with Team Horner. She's awesome. She's their education director. Sorry.
No problem.
Educational director. She's in a lot of our Facebook groups. Probably too many to name, like me. I'm in too many of them as well. So tell us about Horner. Oh, Pool Boy in the House is
Show
back.
out how cool that is.
So explain what we're looking at here.
It's a motor shaft seal pen.
Here you go. It's a motor. So hold
This
it up.
was one of my favorite things that I found here at the pool show that people were giving away. It's a pen with a little shaft seal attached to it.
Cool. So, and who was giving that out?
U.S. Motor.
So if they come to another pool
USA
show,
manufacturing,
they'll
sorry.
probably be giving it out at other pool shows, hopefully. So
This is one of the
Oh,
many cool
here's-
things that I found at the pool show.
I'm getting people to show up now.
Yay.
Take the hot seat. No, you stay. You have a minute?
Yeah, is it on
Yay.
video or not?
Yeah.
Yes, it's
It
on
is.
video. Here,
Okay.
let's put you on at the same time. So we got Laura Costanza with Team Horner,
Laura?
and we've got she's with
Laura?
Team Horner. They're a distributor.
Gary.
And I'm
Oh,
Gary.
yes.
Yes, Hyde Skimmer Covers. I just interviewed Sam Hazel with this week, right?
Just
Monday?
this week, yeah.
Yeah, just this week,
That's
and
right.
they're cool Australian accent.
And we're so pleased to be here.
It's so cool. It's flat, and they have a key. It's like it looks like the pool deck. Is
Look at
that a
that.
sample?
Yes.
So you make it
I've
look
seen
like
it.
whatever your deck is.
This skimmer lid incorporates the decking, and the decking stays flat. Walk over it,
Yeah.
no fading, no cracking,
Yeah.
permanent, and it disappears.
Yep. And that little notch right there is the tool that
That's
you put
right.
in,
You can open it up with a key. The key pops in here, twist it around, you can
so
open
that
it up.
kids can't open it. Nice, isn't it? Wow, there's Vito Mariano. We got a group here, guys. So you gotta lean in.
Come on.
Me?
Come on, Vito.
Why? Where are you going?
Come on. I'm coming right here. I'm supporting you.
Oh, you are? I'm going back to shot.
She just doesn't want to be on video.
You don't want to be a video?
I have no problem being on
Come
video.
on, you got to sit down. You got to do this. Hi.
Get Vito Mariano with Base Creek.
Vito,
Pleasure,
We're
sir. How are you?
meeting, we're meeting each other maybe for the first time.
I don't have
live
to.
on
I
the
can come back
podcast.
later.
No.
Really?
no, Basecrete and Skimmerlets go together. We're all around the pool.
Yeah.
aren't we?
Yeah.
God, love-
Their
Yes.
coolest thing is cool. I've interviewed both of them.
That's awesome.
There's a skimmerlet. Vito.
Look,
I'd
we're
love
showing
that.
me seeing it for the
Where
first
you going? I took your seat.
Come back
Okay.
around.
1116, come by.
That's awesome. Made in Australia and distributed here.
No, I thought
in
you were from
America.
like
No,
Germany.
No, we're here.
That's beautiful.
That's my
Let's see- I
German
want to see that. I
accent.
want to see that.
You want to see that? You
What
look
part of
that up.
Australia? Melbourne.
Melbourne.
I can tell by the
Not,
accent.
not,
no.
not
I can
Melbourne,
tell.
Florida.
No, Melbourne.
Melbourne,
Why? Because I'll tell you
Australia.
why. I'm Italian. There's a lot of Italians in Melbourne.
There
A
you
lot.
go.
We were supposed to move there. I was born in southern Italy.
Well, we get a cold. We get cold wind down there, though. Melbourne's very cold. Here,
That's
just woolly.
fine. I grew up in Canada. I'm fine.
Not that Florida weather. eh?
So Vito Mariano with Base Creek.
Love that.
You're on Instagram Live and you're on everything else live right here, and you got your microphone. So
Hi,
what do you
everybody.
want to say about Base Creek?
Well, we're
for
having an
everybody?
amazing show. It's been fantastic.
What do you
Lauren.
think of the show right now?
Top notch. We've been waiting since this whole COVID thing kind of dissipated.
Yes.
2 years we've been waiting, and I'll tell you, our booth we're killing it. Yeah.
Awesome.
been
He's,
about time.
I mean, it's a big deal, this man right here, with the whole, elevated suspended pools and sealing them properly, sealing that concrete properly, and even the decks. All of
Yes.
it's important because
Yeah.
it's elevated, suspended over something. It can collapse if it's not sealed and built right.
Yeah, well, the industry's been through some changes. Some of the disasters we're dealing with in Florida, as we've spoken about in the past, there's going to be some interesting changes over the next couple of years. And we're
Awesome.
glad to be part of it, which is good.
And I've interviewed Vito for the podcast and Sam Hazel with High Skimmer Lids. So their episodes will be coming out this year.
Isn't that great? Looks great, by
It
the
looks
way. I love
great.
that.
Really
I love
cool.
it.
Thanks very
Love it.
much.
Exciting
And we'll see
products from the pool show will be highlighted on the podcast coming up. So, and these guys are wonderful. Every time I come to a show, I feel like it's a family.
It is a family.
Like I'm seeing
It
my
is a
brothers
family.
and sisters that I see once a year. It's like,
Yeah.
you live far away, and this is when we
Well,
visit
come
each
together.
other.
Funny that you said dinner. There's 3 of my staff that are here. Now there's 26. All at the same table. So we have to bring our tables with us to have enough room. So
Otherwise,
we're
you'll
gonna-
be waiting for a really long time to eat somewhere.
Thanks very much.
No
I'm gonna go
problem.
back to my
Thank
bite.
you,
Yeah,
thank you,
what a
thank you.
pleasure.
Thanks
What a
very
pleasure.
much.
What a
Hide
pleasure.
Skimmer
I'll go back to
Lids.
Hide Skimmerless.
What booth
Yeah,
are
what
you
pleasure.
at? What booth are you at?
1121.
Okay,
So
and where are
that's
you
lovely.
at, Vito?
Thanks very much.
1116. We're at
1116.
1116. Yeah. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Nice gentleman.
This is so much fun.
Yeah, it
I've
is
been
fun.
on for an hour and a
Have
half
you really?
already.
Everybody's pumped up. It's a great show. What a show out.
It's
So we-
fun just to do a live podcast. I've never done a live podcast before,
Oh, it's
so
fun.
this is
Yeah,
really fun
that's good.
talking to people
What-
and not being on a script or anything
No,
else. Just
just-
going with it.
Just
You
go
know,
with it. Well, I'm glad I walked by. So, I needed a break from my booth. It's exhausting.
but you love it. I
Oh,
know
yeah.
you do. I know you do.
I woke up this morning. I had 5 espressos.
Yeah,
So
I had
came
my
here
Coke
pumped
Zero.
up.
Can everybody tell I had my Coke Zero? My husband says you don't even need caffeine.
No.
You're like hormonally got adrenaline
Yeah.
all the time.
I'm off balance to begin with, so we're good.
Hey,
To be in my industry, you got to be a little crazy.
Yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree.
So let's do that.
I don't know who's coming to say hi, but somebody's Hey, sit down.
Melissa, have a
Sit in the
seat.
hot
I am
seat.
going to go take care of my staff.
Yes.
Lauren, thank you.
You
Always
do
you've
a
been
great
doing a great job.
And
So are
thank
you.
you for
So are
being.
you.
Thank you for Base Creek being another big podcast sponsor.
No, it's great. We have fun
Thank you
doing
so
it. Yeah,
much.
call me anytime. We're always available.
No
I'll
problem.
take care of my staff before they fire me. I'm Vito, by the way.
This is Vito
Pleasure.
Mariano
Hi,
with
have
Base
a good night.
Creek.
You have a seat here. We're good.
He
Same here. Thank
seals concrete. Finally, we
So
meet
I know.
in
Hi,
person.
yes. This is my
Yes.
daughter Leia. She's also
Hi.
employed.
So we're live on everything.
Hi, everything.
So everybody knows you on social media.
Awesome.
This
So
is Melissa Johnston.
with the deep end, and I
Yes.
wanted to show you my card. Now I can
It's
officially
beautiful. Look at her card, guys.
say
She's got-
CPO and CPI.
from Lauren Broom,
That's
right?
right. All
From Lauren
you.
Broom. I can't tell if it's. There we go. It's hard to tell from
There you go.
backwards.
This way, right there.
The next class I got to try to get her into is my OSHA 10 class. I'm
Yes.
going to talk her into it.
Yes.
She's going to be one of the first ones in the pool industry fully OSHA 10
That's right.
certified
Yep.
with that OSHA 10 card in general industry.
That's awesome.
We're doing it. I've already got
You did-
13 people
Okay.
through the pool. Oh, I got to plug the Pool and Spa Apprenticeship Training Committee.
Yep.
David Haas, Jennifer Farwell in California. They're lovely, lovely people. Did it
I'm
go
sorry.
up?
No, it went black.
And it's so lovely. They let me teach for them.
Nice.
And so I taught the first OSHA 10 class in the pool
That's
industry.
what I said. That's
for
what I was
them,
going to say. You did do one already,
back
right?
in the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun
That's
to teach
awesome.
something different.
Yeah, I follow along. I
It's
follow along with everything you
All
do.
the wrong stuff the
Yeah.
industry does. We
That's
got
good.
to try to get you guys to do things in a safe
Right.
and healthy way for you.
Yes.
You matter, right?
Yes.
You do. Do you matter?
I matter.
Melissa?
I matter.
Do pool industry professionals matter?
Yes.
And staying healthy and safe
Yes.
while you're working.
Of course.
Not just the people that use the pool, right?
Right,
You're
right.
doing that, and that's part of your job. But
Yes.
you deserve to get some training. Maybe have some stuff you didn't know about how to keep
Yeah,
yourself
for
safe.
sure. Yep.
You know?
And my employees.
Yes, which happens to be your daughter. So you really want to keep her safe.
Yes.
It's all in the family here.
Right.
So it's so great to meet you.
Finally meet you.
Yes, it's so much fun.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for about 4 months now. Are you going to the show?
Yes, yes. I knew I was going to the show since last year when
Yeah.
the other one ended.
Yeah.
And I was like, ah. And it was smaller and I didn't get to
Oh,
see
yeah.
everybody I wanted to see. So it was so exciting that it was the Back to the Big show. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I talked to Skimmer and I said, hey, can I do my podcast live here? And they're
Nice.
like, yes.
That's awesome.
And I figured 2 hours of Lauren Broom talking live is enough, right? You hear me twice a month when I post my podcast episodes.
Right.
So are you a listener of the podcast?
I am actually.
Yay!
Yes.
And what do you think of the podcast?
I like it. It's
You
very
like it?
informative. Yeah.
What's your favorite episode so far?
Oh God. I
So I have got
I was
38
gonna
published
say, yeah,
now.
I don't even know.
30 published.
Yeah.
So this first time I'm going live, so we're not on scripts.
Right.
So it's like fun trying to keep things going without a script. It's easy when you do them pre-recorded.
Right. Yeah.
Because you can splice things out.
Yep.
No splicing
No
today,
editing.
guys. There's no editing. This is all just going with the flow. Had no idea what was going to happen. Never even seen a live podcast. Had to figure it out on my own.
Cool.
So
Well, you're
so-
doing great.
So lovely. So how is the business going for you?
Pretty good. We just picked up a new pool yesterday. Have another one starting in because I work with the realtors. So
Yeah. Tell me,
a lot of stuff.
how long you've been in the industry?
About 7 years.
Okay.
And running my own business for about the same length of time, maybe 6, and then worked for a real retail company as the office manager for 4 years, but still had my business, but kind of scaled back a little bit just so I could do it. And then since almost a year now, stopped working for them. So now I'm trying to rebuild and amp back up, and we're doing it slowly but surely. We're adding more pools in. And
What's for people that are kind of new in there? What is the best? Because that's always the question. Like, how are you getting pools? Because you didn't
Word of
buy a
mouth.
pool, you didn't buy a pool route. So
no.
word of mouth.
So word of mouth and social media.
Social media is a biggie.
I advertise every once in a while on that. Like I'll just post a little blurb or whatever. But working with the realtor is a really good thing. I mean, getting CPI certified is important because that's what gets your
Yay.
realtors. Yeah.
And I added a new CPI class to my
Yeah.
schedule in June. Anybody wants to do the certified pool inspector like Melissa did.
I'm just saying the realtors will look at you in a whole different light if you have CPI. I'm just letting you know because then you're official, and their names are on the line as well when you're doing an inspection for them. So.
And if there's any home inspectors that kind of do the pool inspections as part of their home inspector business, I'm going to be working hopefully with Watershape University in the next year, building training for private home inspectors too.
Gotcha.
So I have a few of those people in my audience. So hopefully they will benefit from that because we need pool industry to teach the private home inspection industry,
Right.
Specifically on the pools.
Gotcha.
Because they're a whole different animal from
Yeah, it
the
is.
house that you're inspecting.
Yeah, it's too bad that they couldn't partner, like
Well,
a
that's
pool
what
inspector with a home inspector, but
Yeah.
both
So
benefiting.
what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be at a Florida Building Inspector Association trade show in June. Me with Watershape University, and August Urson over here is going to be joining me.
Oh, awesome.
And we're going to do a 3-part training. It's a 6-hour training.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I talked for 2 hours. That's why I brought 2 other people in with me. I couldn't talk for 6 hours.
Right.
To home inspectors. So I brought other people to share with me, but they've got great backgrounds. So it's just getting out there and trying to find where the education needs to happen for different groups of individuals that really need better education, and it needs to come from that specific industry.
Right.
not taught within their own industry.
Yeah.
You know, pool people, pool professionals know pool.
Right.
You know, so we
Home
need to
inspectors know
train.
homes, pool
Yes,
inspectors
we
know
won't
pools,
claim we
yeah.
know homes.
No.
So
I would
let's
never
go
try and
ahead
do a home
and
inspection.
give them great training.
Right.
Even virtual training, so if travel is a barrier,
Yeah.
then they'll still be able to do it. And we'll make it great interactive training because Watershape University is awesome at doing that. So partnering with them is going to be a great way to do that. They have great technology. I was like blown away when I talked to them because I may partner up with them to do Ocean Tech.
Oh, cool.
So that'll expand it more for the pool industry.
Right.
So that's my big thing this year is getting that OSHA 10 out.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's a big barrier. The
Yeah.
industry's scared.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Do you kind of gather that whenever the word OSHA is mentioned in a Facebook group, everybody's like, I don't want to be inspected. I don't want to. They think they're going to get inspected. And
Right.
It's not that. They're not going to get inspected unless something really bad happens.
Right.
What we're trying to do is keep that really bad thing from happening.
Yes.
The hope is maybe getting workman's comp rates maybe to go down as well. That
Right.
would be a great thing if we could do as well for the industry. If we do training that helps them learn how to keep their employees safe.
Right.
So, but thank you so much for being here.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that we got
Thank
to
you.
meet, and I'm so glad that I got to stop by and say hello.
Thank you. Good luck with everything
Thank you so much.
and stay in touch.
All right, I will.
You know, all of my students and anybody, even if they're not my student, can always contact me with any
Well, I'm
questions.
hoping that the mentorship works out for me because I've signed up to be
I've
part
got
of that.
a yes, and
Jacksonville
I've got
area.
a list, and it's up there. I should plug that there is a pool mentorship program for Florida. If you want to be a part of it, contact me at spacecoastpoolschool@yahoo.com because you will get paid to train people that want to get hands-on training, not just CPO certified. They will get the CPO class plus a week-long training that you're going to get paid for, about $20-something an hour. All right, for 5 days. It's a good, sweet deal. So I'm going to be marketing that out to my current customer base, and then
And I'm on that list, right?
yes,
Okay,
you
sorry.
are definitely, Melissa. You are definitely on that list. I need good people that really care about the industry
Oh yeah, that's
out
me.
there. That there's some people that don't.
Yeah. Well,
So it's a
You
very,
either love it or
very
you hate it.
small minority.
yeah.
You know, but you're one of the good ones, and I
Thank
want
you.
somebody that's going to be passionate because it's passion in it along with care,
Yeah.
and you're going to teach people very well that way.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right.
You have a really good day.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. August. Come on, you got your shirt on. Tell everybody who you are. Hey, everybody. I got kind of a newbie in the, well, not newbie to the pool industry, but newbie on the private side.
Yeah.
We got August Urson with us. And he used to work for the Department of Health just like I did here in
Yes.
Florida. So tell them a little bit about your company and the name.
Well, I'm Urson Aquatics, which is my last name Urson, which means bear, and so I use the bear logo for my name. But I basically do kind of what I did for the health department, but to help to be more on the industry side. So I will assist in variances. I was the variance board coordinator for 10 years, and I did routine pool inspections for 10 years. So I kind of know what the board is looking for, how to assemble the packages, and then I can tell them, what they need to know since I've been to every one since I can't remember when.
He knows all that tough legal stuff that
Oh, yeah.
sometimes you're like frustrated with the Florida Department of Health and trying to figure out what are they looking for, right? So you got all that knowledge.
Well, I think I do. But
You do. He worked at the Tallahassee level, guys, so he was a lot higher than I was. I worked at a local county health department. I was a simpleton when it came to the health department. I just worked in account. I was just an inspector.
Well, I worked in the Glass Palace, and I like throwing stones. So
Yeah, we always call it the glass towers. We
Yeah.
call it the glass towers, and it was always tough. It's tough working at the state capitol. It sometimes politics mixed with public health, and it gets really tough.
Up there, it definitely mixes with public health. You have all these last minute. The Surgeon General heard this about that, and you got to change this and that.
But what else are you? So you're doing variance writing, doing what? Site inspections if they need it.
Also, compliance consulting. So before you send the health inspector out, I can go and look at the pool and say, this is probably what they're going to find. They may not find this. We better correct this, so it gets permitted right away. And I can also come out like pre-plastering or at different areas and tying the steel or shooting the shell, like kind of make sure everything goes correctly and not, sideways. That leads to a bigger problem that, snowball rolling down the hill leading to an avalanche. And like plan review stuff, if they want to do something new and exciting, but it's not quite the code, I can help with that. And then my third thing is I'm a CPO instructor too, just like Lauren.
Yeah, and he's going to be teaching with me for a little bit at least. I don't know, are you going to continue on? Or?
Yeah.
It's exciting. I brought August Urson. If you go to my website, he's under About Instructors. He's going to be teaching a class at the end of the month. So if you really need a virtual class, he'll be teaching our live virtual class on March 26th and 27th. Sign up your students. He's a great instructor, so you learn definitely plenty about anything in the pool industry. He's a great instructor. He's been teaching for, 10 years? Something like that? Almost a decade?
9.
It's almost a decade.
Almost, yeah. But
yep.
Primarily to the health department inspectors, so I know how they think.
Yes, so you need somebody that's going to really help you figure out, and even if you're not in Florida, a lot of the same premises on how the health inspector is going to think is very much the same.
Yeah.
Florida's got a really strict health code that we've been strict for a really long time, haven't we? We've required gravity feeds since 1977 on a public pool, I believe.
Yeah, on pools, and then 94 for spas. But I had a copy of the 1920 pool code in my office when I was at the health department.
Wow.
And, they recommended that you wash your bathing suit before you get in the pool, and you cannot smoke in the pool. So.
It's amazing how much has changed, but we've been regulating pools since that long, at least in Florida.
Yeah, we've always been ahead of the game in Florida.
And I believe Bob Vincent from DOH Tallahassee level over the program was on the CDC Model Aquatic Health Code originally.
Yeah, he also wrote that 1920 code. He's been there forever.
Yeah, it's like amazing. He's been there forever. He's like a fixture up there. We keep wondering when he's going to retire.
Yeah.
But very knowledgeable person. Knowledgeable person. Always work with your health inspector, right?
Yeah, you got to work with them. I try
Don't work against them.
I always try to teach the Department of Health inspectors that we're not there to be police. We're there to work with everyone. You want to sit down. You got a problem. You need a new pump, but your boss won't let you get one. Like, talk to the health department. Say, hey, can you at least recommend that they start putting this in the budget and can work with it? So, I always try to encourage them to work with the inspectors, but I also know that there are just some people who just think they're cops, and I apologize for them.
Yeah, they think they have that badge on. So it means I am closing everything, and it's like a power trip. So definitely network with them, work with them. That's the best way to go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for stopping by.
Yeah,
and definitely check out, what's your website?
It's www.ursin aquatic.com.
And is there a number you're willing to give out for them to call you?
My number is 850-666-9107. And my email is august@ursinaquatic.com.
Awesome.
Yep.
And he's teaching with me now, so you may get him as your instructor. And he's awesome. Don't be scared of that. I know you all get used to Space Coast Pool School with Lauren Broom, but I can only teach so many weekends, guys.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to offer the classes to more people so that they can get educated. So, and I'm very selective on my instructors, so I wouldn't pick just anybody.
Yeah, she did everything.
I put him through the grill.
Measured my arms, made sure I float correctly. Make sure I didn't have a toupee on. She did everything.
Yep. So thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you.
And good.
I'll see you around.
We talk every single week. We'll talk again.
All right. Good seeing you.
You're usually like, oh, Lauren's calling me.
No, I just put it on and put on my listen to the music.
I'm putting my earmuffs on.
Yeah,
which is really loud.
Put my AirPods in and listen to music.
Earplugs.
Just say
Right.
Thank
you so much, August. It's nice to see you. I'll probably see you around tomorrow. You're in the class with me tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah.
On the Florida Health Code.
Yep.
That'll be fun. That's going to be a fun class. All right, I got my next person on deck. She's going to slide over. You're used to being on stuff. hopefully our connection will be a lot better, right?
Yes.
So this is Kristen Mello. Everybody knows who Kristen Mello is. She's been in our magazines and stuff. Tell them a little bit about you.
Well, my husband and I own a pool service maintenance and repair company. We've had it for 4 years now, but my husband had been doing pools for about 25. And once we started our company, I started learning everything that I could, getting my certifications, my education, and I ended up being the 2021 Perfect Pool Girl.
Yay!
So,
Go, Kristen. You joined a great group of people too, because Andrea Nanini was previous years.
Andrea's awesome. I really like her.
Yes. Always pick wonderful people. The ladies are always got like the greatest personalities. I don't know how I managed to pick the right person every single year.
And very similar personalities between me and Mike Baker. Him and I hit it off straight off the rip. They matched us up perfectly.
Which is the male pool professional of the year for Cleco.
Yes.
And I've seen him on the back of Pool Pro magazine. If you read Aqua magazine,
yes,
those two main ones right there. I've seen you guys.
We run our companies identically, and they did a really good job pairing us up, because when him and I first started talking, we actually realized that we had both developed our own pool cards to monitor and maintain chemicals, and they were almost identical designs. The way that we had set them up, I mean, they did a good job. Cleco really does well with us.
That's awesome. And what do you think of the show today?
The show's great. It really is. I'm really enjoying myself. I went to Dallas. Dallas was overwhelmingly big.
International show. I've been to one when it was here in Orlando at the convention center here, and it was very big and overwhelming.
It was.
It was before COVID. I went probably last time it was here was maybe 5 years ago.
It was, and it was so much that you couldn't take everything in one shot. I've had a lot more time to be able to stand, talk with the people that I really wanted to meet with.
It's like a family here.
It really is.
The industry is wonderful.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. Definitely. I definitely picked the right industry, because I can't sit still for very long or be too, set on one thing, just put my focus on one. I need to be all over the place. So being able to be a part of this industry, focus on chemistry, focus on plumbing, focus on hydraulics, focus on, just have my focus all over. I definitely picked the industry that I was meant to be in, and I think that I'm where I'm supposed to be.
And have you taken any classes?
I did. I took the Plumbing Nightmares course.
Oh, that had to have been fun.
It was awesome. I could have listened to that guy talk for 3 hours. It was fantastic.
I missed a great class then, it sounds like. I was in electrical principles and then site safety plans this morning.
Yes. Yeah, it was really good and really interesting, and it's just, he was funny too. He was cracking jokes.
It's always great to have speakers like that. Most of them are awesome at the shows.
Yeah.
It's industry people that are at the booths that are doing the training, and then they scatter back to their booth over here, and out here seeing everybody. So it's so wonderful. Very lucky to have been here doing the podcast live, and people that could make it to the show being able to see people here and just see what a show's like if they've never been to one. Do you recommend going to a pool show, trade show, if they've never been?
Absolutely. Not only can you do networking, you've got the education, you can see all the new products that are coming out, you can put your hands on them and try them, and it's absolutely, anybody who has the opportunity to go needs to go.
And there's usually one in your area, in your region. So it's always trying to go, and it really is that kind of hands-on training while you're there.
Plan for it. My husband and I used to say every year that we were going to go to one, and we'd get busy and we'd get into our schedules and we'd never go. Well, winning the award forced me to go, and I'm so glad that I did, because I don't want to miss them anymore.
I didn't go to every single one.
Yeah, I didn't realize how great they are and how much fun they are. So it's definitely worth it. I've learned more at these shows than I could imagine.
I've been coming to this show when I was working at the health department, and it was so amazing. I got training there as a pool inspector, but it wasn't the same as getting industry training on tools. So I saw equipment and listened to the people that actually handle that equipment doing the training instead of a health department representative. And it was like enlightening. you know, to just come here and walk in the trade show and seeing like Stenner pumps. We see them on our public pools everywhere here. I got all this material and all came to understand how they worked. It really helped me as an inspector when I'm writing up, I write up this violation, but what does it really mean? What is everything behind this? So even health inspectors, if they're listening to this, you can get a lot out of going to trade shows as well. You've got to make yourself a better inspector, right? And you would definitely want that for health inspectors too, because they're the ones looking at you do public pools, and you definitely want them to be trained really well and understand the industry that you're in and they're in.
Yes, absolutely. It's so important because, you know, I'm very particular, especially with my installs and making sure that I check all the boxes and everything's correct when I do an install. I've been to so many pools. I was actually just talking to Michael Pentair about it after this last class for the Intel account, that it's just such a nightmare. Everything is done wrong, plumbed wrong, wired in wrong, and you walk in there and you're like, how did this ever pass inspection? Well, it's just because it was a glance through. They saw everything. It looked pretty, but nobody actually knew the way that, you know, where the chem feed is supposed to go in the plumbing, you know, and those are very important things that need to be, you know, focused on an inspection because you're dealing with public health. And
that's a big deal.
It is. It's a very big deal. And they're trusting you to keep them safe. So you need to know your equipment, you need to know your systems, and you need to make sure that when you go to perform an inspection, you are checking off everything that could possibly be an issue and know what you're talking about. So coming to a trade show like this, you know, my husband's over talking to Stenner now about an issue that we're having at one of our commercial pools with one of their pumps. Well, it's something that should have been recognized, you know, from the very beginning. And now here we are just picking up this pool months and months, even a year later, that it's always had this issue. And now we've got to go back behind and try and correct it where it should have been picked up.
I totally agree. I'm going to ask you this question. What do you think about workplace health and safety for the pool profession? Do you think that's important? Because we always focus on like the pool, the person using the pool. What do you think about the industry turning and actually having training for workplace health and safety for employees?
I mean, in all honesty, I think that workplace health and safety should already be a part of it.
Like lockout, tag out, when you're working out, electrical safety, using your voltmeters.
One of the biggest things that I think gets neglected in this industry is the fact that we're working with electrical and water. So
and you're doing so many different trades.
So many different trades, so many different things. We're constantly standing in it. And then we're doing electrical work on top of it. No, this needs to be, you know,
just opening a cartridge filter can be dangerous if you are too close to it.
Yes.
And it hits you in the head.
Yeah.
There's so many different.
It's as simple as knowing to turn the system off before turning a multi-port to backwash. You know, you don't know how many times I've walked into commercial pools and the CPO is there and they're like, oh, well, you know, I just throw it into backwash. No, you don't. You turn it off. You know, you're going to blow that gasket out. What is wrong with you? So it's like, but if they've never been taught, they don't know.
Right.
So Mike said in the electrical class that I went to in Atlantic City, he mentioned about how our sleeves are always wet. Yeah. And I never thought about that working with electrical, that I'm conductive.
Well, I was just in an electrical principles class and they were talking about rings.
Yeah.
Put tape around it or something. But you got rings, watches, anything that you're wearing jewelry wise, if you can remove it, remove it.
Humidity.
Yes, they talked about that as well.
Humidity.
Those states that have high humidity, it can be conductive.
Right. So workplace safety is huge. Yep. It really is. And
that's why I took the classes I took today. It was because of more of that workplace health and safety. I'm seeing more classes at the trade shows geared toward that than I did like 2-3 years ago. And that's great to see.
It is. It is. And, you know, in turn, we need to do our part by making sure that we are educated, that we do take the classes, that we know, especially as business owners, what to bring back to our employees.
Yep.
Because if we're not doing it, they're not going to practice it in the field. They're not going to just automatically know better. We have to take the initiative and be the ones here getting the education. Every class that I've taken, I've learned something that I didn't know and hadn't thought about.
And if you get something out of it, that's the number one thing to keep you safe.
Exactly.
So do you think like OSHA 10 certification would be a good thing for the pool industry?
I'm all about OSHA certifications.
Like general industry, and then even eventually pool builders having some level of training and making sure subcontractors are getting training as well because they're working under, and that license holder is responsible for all subs and any workplace safety hazard that hurts the worker or there's a death.
Just think about what is in the back of our service trucks. We literally have a bomb in the back of our service trucks.
I'll be somebody's on deck in a minute.
But we literally would drive around with a bomb in the back of our service trucks between the acid, the chlorine, if we have trichlor back there, anything.
And things mixed together.
Exactly. You make a hard turn and the back of your truck isn't loaded correctly.
Yep.
OSHA should have a seminar just for that, what these chemicals will do if mixed together. And
guess what? If they take my OSHA 10 class, they'll get all that because I go over hazardous materials and hazard communication.
Good. It's so important.
We go over cartridge filters and how they may explode, especially if you don't relieve the air out of it.
Yeah,
that's so the little things that sometimes people cut corners and they don't think about, and then they get hurt. So
anything that can bring safety and education to the industry is wonderful.
He's all curious over here. My person on deck. He's like, "What is she doing here?"
Going on. It's all good.
We're live.
He's live. You want me to turn it toward you?
It's okay.
You're going to be on in a minute. You're going to be on. You were already on my podcast the last episode.
I've blabbed too much.
No, you're fine.
You're fine. You got great stuff. So I'm a big thing with OSHA. I'm teaching the first OSHA 10 class for the pool industry now. So I'm really hoping to get that out there. And I wanted to really see what people thought about at the trade show about workplace health and safety.
I will take the class.
Yes.
I will definitely take the class.
Yes.
So.
Especially since it's virtual, live virtual for 2 days. You'll give up 2 days on a weekend?
There is no excuse not to.
Yes, thank you. I really care about people like you. I want to make sure that I see you at next year's show.
Exactly.
That's what I think about with the industry is all these people are wonderful, and we need to make sure that we treat our industry like every other professional industry, and they all do OSHA 10 certification.
Yes, it needs
the full
to be
OSHA card. It is a lifetime certification. You don't have to renew it, like lots of other things that you have to do, like other classes that I teach. So if you do it once, you don't have to do it again. You don't have to hear Lauren talk again for 2 days on that topic.
Unless you want to, and you go to the podcast. And
Yes. So are you a listener of the podcast?
I am a listener of the podcast.
So if you're not a listener, our female pool professional of the year from Pleco, she's a listener of the Let's Talk About Pools podcast.
Yes, I am.
So join her. You can go back on episodes or pick the ones that you like. They're up everywhere. I'm on every platform possible. Apple, Spotify, everything. So find me, listen to me. Kristen will be on it soon in the next month or two on female pool professionals in the pool industry, along with Andrea Nannini and Heather Linton and Jules Johnson. So we got lots of great ladies that you'll recognize their names. Thank you so much for being on my first live podcast. Yes, we
Anytime.
did it. We
All
did
right.
it.
Thanks, Lauren.
No problem. I don't know if we're still live here. Yes, we're still live. My battery's almost dead because I've been live for
I just wanted to come by and say
2 hours.
hello.
Sit.
Very briefly.
Yes, briefly. Sit. So this is
Fred Schweer with Pool RX. Hi, Lauren. How are you?
Good. We just interviewed recently, and your podcast episode is episode 30.
Yes. Thank you for doing that.
And there'll be a great article coming out in Pool Magazine.
Yes, that's correct.
In the next imprint version. I don't know when it's coming out, April or something.
I think, April probably.
I know they're running around everywhere. I think we have one around. Nope, that's not it. Somebody had one. Great magazine from Joe Trusty and Marianne Trusty. So you'll be featured in Pool RX will.
That's correct.
That's how it can help pool professionals.
Yes. Our product definitely with the shortages of chlorine and the cost of chlorine going through the roof. Pool RX is really a great solution to help every pool get through these summers and these tough conditions. So
As you guys know, if you have listened to the podcast, Chlor-X is a 6-month algicide that reduces chlorine demand, and it eliminates the need for a lot of other specialty chemicals like phosphate removers and clarifiers and other algicides. So it's a great chemical savings product. And if you like to learn more about it, check out the podcast that we did with Lauren. And that was it. I just wanted to come by and say hi, Lauren. I saw you here.
And the article and the podcast,
And the
are
podcast
tied
and the
together.
article, yep,
They're tied
absolutely.
together, so you can listen to it, you can read about it, and it's going to be an awesome joint effort there.
Yes, and we also have a sale right now through all of our distributor
Yes,
partners.
your spring sale.
March 1st through April 30th. So that's going on right now. So all of our distributor partners nationwide will have discounts at the counter for you when you're looking to buy Chlor-X.
And if you're at the pool show, Everything Under the Sun pool show here in Orlando, what booth number are you?
Oh man, you did this to me on my podcast, 927, I think. I forgot. Yeah, you're gonna find us. It's the show's big, but it's not so big you can't find us. So we're around.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, you were my last person
Oh, well,
because
thank you.
it's almost 4:00, and I said 2 to 4.
Awesome.
And I'm not going to subject these people
Save
to
the best for last.
Yes, and I didn't want to subject them to any longer with Lauren Broom here.
Oh, you're
They've
great.
already
You're
had
great.
me for 2 hours live.
Oh
here.
no, you're great. And thanks for all your support. So we appreciate it. All right, everybody.
You get my last person
Oh,
on.
here he goes.
I got 1
See ya.
minute.
Oh, yeah.
Bye,
Bye.
Fred.
Bye. Good to
How are
see
you? Come plug yourself here.
Hello, Lauren.
Mark Richter with Pool Pro Office.
Yes, I'm
Say
here.
hi. You're live on the podcast.
Hello,
So this
everyone.
is your microphone. So tell them a little bit about you and your company.
Well, Pool Pro Office is the oldest premier software in the pool business for project management, service, and sales. So we do all three.
Awesome. And I think you're right out of the county I live in. You've been there a
Oh,
long
yes.
time. How long have you been in Brevard County?
Since 1960. I grew up.
Wow, you're there long before I got there. I didn't get there until 84.
Yep.
And I was like a little tiny kid then. I was like 7 years old.
Yeah, I was,
I'm telling my age now. I try to hide it, but now everybody can figure out how old I am.
I've been there longer.
My husband was like that when he was like 20.
Yeah.
So he was already looking his
But
he's gonna kill me if he's listening
it's
while he's
part
at
of-
work.
Yeah. But I grew up on the East Coast there. Surfed as a young boy and grew up in.
Now, were you in the pool industry, like pool builder, before this, or has this always
No.
been what you did?
I actually went to work for Disney for about 8 years in the art department. Came back and did some landscape design, and then that got me into the pool design.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So I
So
started back in pool design in '84.
way back before all this technology now, right?
Oh yes,
The technology makes it amazing. Now it's almost like a virtual visit to the pool.
my technology back there was a pager.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I was in high school and kids had pagers. The rich kids had pagers, no cell phones.
Still had
this
to put
is
a
mid
quarter-
90s.
Still had to go to the phone booth and put a quarter in too.
Yeah, I try to tell my teenagers, that have cell phones when they're driving around, you're very lucky. If we got stuck in our car, had to walk to the closest payphone. So, well, where can they find you and your software?
At poolprooffice.com.
Cool,
And
that was easy.
There's a brand new website. Lots of great new videos on there, so you can learn more from the website.
Awesome.
You can schedule a demo. You can, get started right away.
And has it been a good pool show for you so far?
We've always got to be at shows, so we travel. Always did the international Florida show, and also the one in New Jersey,
Atlantic City? Yeah, that's a biggie.
And I've been to the Florida or the Texas show, the Western show.
Yep, that's a good one.
And so I just try and move around. Just got to stay out there. 17 years of doing it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for
Thank you.
your local Brevard County, and I've been in Palm Bay since '84.
Okay.
So I've lived there, grew up there, went to school there, went to UCF in Orlando. Worked for the local county health department for 17 years as an inspector. So
That's where I remember seeing you. We had to get those pools inspected.
yeah, there you go. It was
Okay.
very nice to see you.
Nice seeing you. Have a good show.
You too. Thank you. Awesome. So I saw you taking my picture. Was I in the
love it.
picture?
This whole thing, the whole setup
I'm
is awesome.
I'm separate from them, but they're
Oh, you are?
I'm a podcast.
Nice.
But they're my biggest podcast sponsor. Cool. Skimmer. So they invited me because I live in Florida. So I came here to do the podcast for 2 hours.
This is the podcast?
Yeah. So let's talk about Pools podcast.
I love
So
it.
they're my big sponsor so that I don't have to
I
pay
wanna
for
remember
it.
that.
It costs money to run a podcast. You have sound editing and all that other
I
stuff I have
know.
to send it to. So
I know, I love it.
they're lovely people. I love the guys. The guys are so. Kevin is awesome.
That's cool.
Kevin is awesome. He hears from me all the time. He's in my cell phone. Yeah. What? I'm not allowed to talk and say your name? No, I don't. Do you want to come say hi really quick? I'm ending because it's past 4. So we're going to end with Skimmer.
All right, perfect.
All right. So we're ending the
Begin
podcast.
and end with Skimmer.
Yes, we begin. We're going to end with Skimmer. So anything you want to say?
Oh, for sure.
And almost the end of a first day at the trade show.
Well, it's a great trade show.
Okay, great.
Amazing.
Get some good contacts.
I haven't stopped talking since it started.
Awesome.
Haven't had a break, and that's amazing.
Did I interfere at all with
Not
the
at all.
podcast?
You added a certain magical energy to the booth today.
Awesome.
As always.
Awesome. Awesome.
Hey, the one thing I will
Hopefully
say,
we'll continue working together this way at some of the shows.
we definitely will.
It'll be so much
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
You're
so-
live in the background of our podcast, guys. Say hi. You're on everything.
I use you guys.
I'm not
Oh, yeah.
Skimmer. He's Skimmer.
yeah. Thank you.
I'm the podcast that they support.
Yes. There
I'm
you
the
go.
Let's Talk About Pools podcast.
Yeah.
Look it up.
So I think the thing I would finish with is, you know what's so exciting is when we did your podcast with the tools and modern pool
Yes.
professionals,
Yes.
which is coming out soon, right?
Yes.
Okay. We were talking about that. We went to dinner last night, and everyone was like, "Oh, that was really good. That really went well, right?"
I agree.
And I'll tell you the reason why. I think you know this, and we said that in the podcast, is we're not really out here selling. We're not selling people to use skimmer, to use riptide, to use primate, to use piranha nets and brushes, right? What we're out here selling is a better life. We're out here selling a way to improve, to decrease the amount of time it takes you to do a professional job, right?
Yep.
Take a lot less time to do that and be more profitable doing it and get your life back.
And I think everybody
Everybody
loves
wants that.
all those points you just said.
Right, exactly.
You know, they're all positive points.
And I think that's why we really resonate in the industry is that's what we're trying to do. We want to make your life easier with an app that's powerful, reliable, and scalable. Whether you have 50 pools or 25 pools, or whether you have 2,500 pools, you can use Skimmer. Doesn't matter if you have yourself, one tech, or 50 techs, 75 techs.
Had somebody earlier, she has 4 full-time techs, 4 part-time techs. I CPO certified her 2 years ago. She is a Skimmer customer already.
Yeah.
And she said how much time it saves her and she can service more pools.
Yeah.
And that's a testimonial right there.
Yeah, for sure.
That she's down in Stuart, Florida. Hillary McKeach, guys, you know her on Facebook. Come on, she's all over Facebook.
Yeah.
You guys know her. She's a gal, owns a pool service company. And, you know, saving time is important.
Oh, yeah. For
Saving
sure.
money. She's able to do her inventory of her chemicals,
Yeah.
make sure that her techs aren't going to service other pools on the side, which is a commonality that happened. And it was harder to monitor when
Yeah.
you had paper because you can fudge things.
Right.
You know, it's a little bit easier when it's all going to a main
Yeah.
place and you can keep track of the data.
Exactly.
It just makes it so much easier.
For sure. And a really big thing is, you know, it helps you run your routes, right? Helps you do your work orders, get your work done. Skimmer, I'm talking about right now. And then all those other tools. It help you get through your day and be much more professional. But even more exciting is you know, when you look at all those tools and the things they add to you. When you go into Skimmer at the end of the day, you can actually click a button and look how profitable have I been, you know, in the last few days, in the last week, in the last month, with one click of a button. And that's what's key. You got to know your numbers. You have to know. You may love what you're doing. You may be great at what you're doing, but you got to be profitable at what you're doing as well, right? To really be sustainable. And what most people don't have the energy to do in this business is actually think about those things at the end of the day. They're so tired, right? And with Skimmer, you go in, you click on, let me look at my invoicing report. One push.
And you
Let me
slide,
let me see who my
slide
most
thing. Yeah, it's
let me
so
see who
cool.
my most profitable customers are. One button push. You don't have to do anything.
first time I saw it was when I was out in the field when I first left the health department. I was going out with a residential and commercial pool company down in Vero Beach.
Okay.
And they were a customer of you guys. And I was out with the pool tech trying to see what pool techs on the residential side do and how different it is from commercial.
Yeah.
And she had her phone out and she was using Skimmer and was talking all about it. And it was long before I started the podcast and was associated with Skimmer as a podcast sponsor.
Yeah.
So seeing it out in the field was awesome.
That's
you know,
awesome.
that just shows so much more.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
cool.
And you guys are my biggest podcast sponsor. I have a couple others that are awesome. Pool Magazine and
Yeah.
Base Cree has some really great, but you're the biggie.
Yeah.
You guys are all my podcast sponsors. You really take what I do, which is education. And yeah, they pay for some of these classes I teach, but the podcast is you're helping me because otherwise I'd be paying for it. You guys are, all these podcast sponsors are helping me do what I'm doing right now and running this podcast. It's free education to pool professionals so that they know what's available to them to make their jobs easier and better and professional and everything that you said earlier.
Right.
You know, like the podcast we'll put out on the tools of the modern pool professional. That's going to be an awesome podcast episode. I cannot wait to get that one out.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. That was awesome.
And you know, they're going to learn so much. I mean, I walked away and it was so positive.
Yeah.
Like everything was just like, you had me lifted up. I almost felt like I was in heaven for a minute,
Oh, that's
you know?
nice. Thanks.
So all of you.
Well, you know what?
It was all of you.
I'll tell you why I feel that way. You know, I spent the last 9 months on the road visiting with Skimmer customers.
Yeah, because you visited with me.
Arizona, I met you in
We had
Melbourne.
lunch at a
Melbourne,
little
Florida.
tiny.
But it started out in
mom and pop place.
Scottsdale, went to Southern California, Texas, and then all the way around Florida, right? And what I learned from that is people in this industry are amazing.
Yes, they are.
They're incredible.
Yes.
I mean, they're friendly, hardworking.
Yes.
It's unbelievable, right? And I thought, and then I went out and worked with a lot of them on their routes, and it was like, okay, I got to get in better shape. This is really hard work.
It is.
Get at the end of the day, I was taking 3-hour naps after I worked the route. Ridiculous. And drinking, it seemed like liters of water to get rehydrated. And I thought, you know, at the end of the day, how can you think about profitability and how I'm really running my business and think about it from a strategic standpoint when you don't even have the energy to sit at the dinner table, right? Without taking a 3-hour nap. And so how do you interact with your kids? How do you interact with your,
It's
your
overall
partner?
makes so much sense
Right?
to use tools
Yeah.
that are associated with this episode we're going to put out.
That's right.
So if you don't listen to the podcast, join it somewhere so that you'll get alerted when the podcasts come out.
Yeah.
Because you really want to listen to this, the tools of the modern pool. Let's say it at the same time. We're going to end with this.
Okay, ready?
The tools of the modern pool professionals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
And you're professionals, guys. Awesome. So this is a wrap of the live Let's Talk About Pools podcast at the Skimmer booth. If you're not here today, come here tomorrow and visit Skimmer at booth 1221 at the Everything Under the Sun show in Orlando. And thank you for letting me be here live with my podcast.
Oh, you're awesome. We love you.
It is so much fun.
Yeah. And you need to take a CPO class. Take it with Lauren. She's amazing.
Or CPI.
Very
or
deep
OSHA
experience,
10.
but she has a lot of fun.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Thank you
So
so
good.
much.
Thanks,
you
Lauren.
have a great day.
All right, you too.
All right, guys, I'm going to sign off here. And it was so wonderful being on with you guys. Have a great day from the pool show in Orlando.